Maxwell and
They bat deep.
Mitchell.
Yeah,
Brad
plenty.
Haddon's coming in at 8.
If they bat 50 overs, I think it'll begin with.
Well, they're about right the
three.
way down to Mitchell Stark at 10.
Yeah.
They're just going to keep.
And we're back. And those are the dulcet tones of Roger McCann, who we understand has been spotted.
The lesser spotted McCann.
Enjoying the delights of New Zealand. Whereas we thought he might just be here and would like to come and do some commentary, but no, seemingly not. Oh, hang on, they're playing Unorthodox 11 on Sky at the moment. Rory Burns, Dominic Sibley gets in immediately. Steve Smith, Shivnarine Chandrapal, George Bailey. Well, he wasn't unorthodox until he changed his stance. Kim Barnett, Jack Russell, Lasith Malinga, Paul Adams, and I didn't see those last two. Anyway, we've waiting for the second session to begin. Some wispy cloud above the Bay Oval. And it seems to me like quite a lot of people are allowed onto the outfield, which is unusual for a test match, but they do things differently in New Zealand. They actually appreciate their audiences.
They did that in South Africa at Cape Town as well, mainly because you can't do much damage to the thing.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is then. Anyway, welcome back. I am Gorilla Hendo, Nigel Henderson, and on my right, it's the amazing Dancing Bear.
The amazing dancing bear.
The amazing farting bear
Well,
in the other room. And on my left, the man with a G in the middle.
As we're going to get some shreddies, aren't we?
What? Shreddies?
Shreddies, the fart pants.
Oh, yeah, we're just... yeah, apparently, yes, you can get those things. Anyway, yes, Jason G. Hiscox is on my left. Well, what do we make of the morning then, chaps? It was a funny sort of morning, wasn't it? England started very well. Although Pope was given out LBW, was overturned on review when he'd only added a single, I think, to his overnight score. But England seemed to be going along quite happily, and we kind of thought that the only problem for England is if they get themselves out. And guess what? They started to do so.
Out, yeah.
Stokes ran down the wicket, got an edge. Good catch, though, at slip by Ross Taylor. Then Ollie Pope chased a very wide one from Tim Southey that was swinging further away and was caught behind. And then Trent Bolt. Was it Trent Bolt who got a wicket, or was it Neil Wagner? No, it was Wagner taking the catch, I think, wasn't it? Or Southey taking the catch.
Southey got 3 this morning.
He got 3, but there was also...
Trent Bolt got LBW. No,
he didn't. He got caught. It was Jofra Archer, wasn't it?
Yes.
Who just poked out at the ball and was taken in the slips. So they lost 4, I think, for 18 at one stage. So we thought, here we go again. It's the England collapso. But Joss Butler and Jack Leach have joined forces. Jack Leach, well, I mean, when you've got Jack Leach at the other end, there are no worries.
There aren't.
There are no worries. He will play for you and for the team.
But weirdly, Butler kept turning down runs.
Yeah, he turned down runs a few times, although one time he turned down a run, he then hit the next ball for 6, a massive 6 over long off, which is fine. If you're going to do that, I think that's fair enough, isn't it, really? We understand that Joss Butler is now only 2 runs short of 2,000 runs in Test cricket. But I think, looking at it this morning, and the way that England started, you thought, if they just grind this out, there's a 500 on for them here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then use that scoreboard pressure against New Zealand, because this is a funny old pitch. It's a bit dull, isn't it? It's a bit dead. There's not much in it. The approach seems to be to bowl with discipline and not give too much away and go at sort of 1.5, 2 and over. But
well, it'll be interesting to see how England approach that bowling strategy. They've got Jofra, the fast man. He's knocked a few people out already in his short Test career.
They've got the fast man, the tall man, the young man.
And the experienced pro.
Oh yes, there was an LBW, wasn't it? Sam Curran, of course, was out for a golden.
Yeah.
And at one point we had Southey on a hat-trick. So that didn't come to pass, but... excuse me.
I should get through some tweets quickly. Yes. Our own Grubby, they've been playing some form of pun game over the luncheon interval, and he's got Wattling back to happiness.
Oh.
Santa Baby, obviously.
Yeah.
And Williamson, it was really nothing.
What was the original song?
William, it was really nothing, by the Smiths.
Yeah.
Annie Chave says he looks more comfortable at the crease, talking about...
Jack, I suppose.
I imagine it's so, yeah.
Where's Grubby?
Where are you, Grubby? Are you in some other time zone?
We thought he was in Dubai yesterday, didn't we?
He's all over the place at the moment.
And
very early in the morning in Dubai.
Mayank says, Watching Naseem Shah bowl versus Australia. Yes, we were too in the green room. 16 years old and already at 93 miles an hour in his first over. Wow.
Yeah, his first ball was
And yet
144 Ks.
Sky call him fast medium.
Yeah, I don't get that.
They probably hadn't seen him. Anyway, we're back out there. We're going to jingle up the
Protagonists.
and these are they.
He's going to face first ball.
Joss.
This man.
Pryor ain't no loss, 'cause we found someone subtler. Okay, he can't spell Joss, but he also can't spell Butler. Joss Butler. Just because he is Joss Butler. One S and two T's. Joss Butler.
Is that the woman who was reading Nora Roberts yesterday? She's got through one of Nora Roberts' novels
re-
very quickly. She's on to another one.
She's on to Jane Green, who is another sort of chick lit rom-com writer.
She obviously loves that shit. She don't watch much cricket. Anyway, this man's bowling.
He's so pretty, that Tim Southey.
Here he is.
So pretty and witty.
Swinging it away from Joss Butler, who leaves it alone.
He's not as pretty as Kane Williamson.
Now, I've discovered that eating actually makes you tireder.
Yeah, it does.
And I shouldn't have had half a pack of Cadbury's Dairy Fingers.
Yeah, and eventually it'll give you some... You had half a pack?
Half a pack, yeah.
That's
Near
a
enough.
lot.
Yeah,
if
I
you're
just
a diabetic, that'd be bad.
I know. Well, I may be. I haven't ever had it tested. Well, I hadn't had.
Well, you do
tested
like pastry.
recently. I do like pastry. Just the one slip then for Southey. He's in to bowl to Butler. It's a ball just on the line or just outside off stump, and he drives it up to a deep set, very deep set mid off, and declines the single. So he remains on 29. Leach is on 12. Southey now has remarkable figures, considering that I don't think he's bowled that well. Of 4 for 74. And I'm guessing that will take him to 255 wickets. Bolt has also got 255 wickets now because he's only picked up one.
I thought he got 256 now because he picked up one.
Yeah, picked up one. He was on 254 to start.
Oh, was he? I thought,
oh, no, maybe it was 255, yeah. Down the leg side, and Watling has to tumble away to his left to take the ball. And there is no run.
I thought Southey was 4 behind, and he sort of got equal when he got his fourth, and then Bolt got the...
I think that's right.
The wicket, didn't he?
But it was gifted, a couple of those.
Oh, they were, absolutely. I mean,
one fantastic catch by Ross Taylor. Well, let's not forget that. I mean, that ball was travelling, and he didn't need to play the shot that he did, Ben Stokes.
No, not at all.
No.
And Pope got himself out as well. Southey in again. Oh, he throws this one up. It's driven up to the deep set mid-off again. Has he taken a run on this occasion?
Yeah.
Yes, he has. He's going to allow Jack Leach to face 2 balls of Tim Southey.
It's a bit disparaging of Leachy for him, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he should be walking up to him and saying,
I mean, a man's got
"What
a
are
test
you?"
90-6 for crying
92.
out loud. 92.
Coming up, here's a face that I know. It's Jack Leach. Now coming up is Jack Leach. On Jack Leach.
We have 33 entries in the GPL today.
That's magnificent.
It's magnificent. Des, who was he was our nearly a winner yesterday.
Yes, he nearly was.
He's a low. He likes his low. Well, he's fucking dumped in shitloads.
Southey in to Leach, the left-hander. He just drops forward, defends it square on the offside.
He's got a big spread. I think he's put in about 20 entries. He's gone for 245 all the way up to 296.
He's a determined man today.
He's a very determined man.
Well, considering we only scored 241 yesterday, is he probably still a bit high?
What's his starting gambit?
His starting gambit is 245, which was the score he nearly got yesterday if there'd been a fourth to last ball.
We've had 89 runs so far today. England starting on 200,
which is a lot more than yesterday, I have to say.
In he comes again, and he drives really pleasantly. He's probably only going to get 1 for it. He's thinking about it a second as Santner picks up and throws, and brilliant piece of fielding to the non-striker's end. I think Butler would have been in trouble if he'd come back with the second there. However, it means that Leach has retained the strike, and England have moved on to 331 for 8. Any tweets?
Durbanoki has joined us after lunch, and he says, obviously, we're doomed.
We're doomed. Well, were you here, Durban, this morning when those 4 wickets went down for 18? I'm sure that would have
I'm sure he was in going doomed at that point.
He probably
And
was.
also, Evil Scooter says evening.
Evening.
Well, for all the hand wrangling over the evening, so the morning session collapse, this test seems very evenly poised.
Well, it is really. It is at the moment. Anyway, opening the bowling also after lunch is this man.
That's Neil Wagner. He's my boss. And when he takes 5 wickets in an over, it was moida.
Has he ever taken 5 wickets and over?
Yes.
Has he?
Yes.
5 wickets and an
bet.
over?
As you can, in an over.
Yeah,
Did you
that's
say?
what-
Oh, well, no one's taken 5 wickets in an over.
I'm sure someone has,
I
but
have actually.
that's
Not at test level. 5 in an over.
Anybody on Twitter?
Come on, what?
Kevin James got 4 in 4, didn't he?
Yeah,
in
but I don't
the
think anyone's
county
taken
game.
5 in an over. Anyway, let's have a look at this field. He's got
I'm
well,
going to Google that.
very strange position. A short cover, a gully, no slip, a leg slip, and a forward short leg. There's also an extra cover, a wide mid-on, and a square leg just in front of square as Wagner comes round the wicket, left arm round, trying to get it up into the armpit, and is turned away by Jack Leach. I'm not sure whether he actually got bat on that or whether that just came off a bit of shirt actually. Anyway, he's got down the other end. It's considered a leg by umpire Dharmasena, and England moved to 332 for 8.
Oh, the best laid plans of New Zealand's cricketing brains.
Yeah,
Of mice and men.
it didn't work. Anyway, it brings Jos Buttler down a face. He's made 30. Needs one more run for 2,000 runs in Test cricket.
I don't know why you're practicing that shot, Jack Leach, because he's just practicing a
drive.
forward push.
He's not going to get many of those, is he? From
Not
Neil
from Wagner.
No. Well, it's Wagner now bowling over the wicket to the right-hander, and very few close fielders driven powerfully up to the deep set mid-off, but they won't take a run, which is making this a little bit of a stalemate at the moment.
We're in a lull.
Well, I mean, okay, on the last ball of the over, presumably they wanted to get back for 2, which they didn't, and then Jack Leach kept the strike. So, on that basis, just give him the freedom, Joss, I would say.
Okay, that's the whole reason for that jingle. Apparently Neil Wagner has bowled taken 5 wickets in an over.
He has.
Not in a test match, I don't think.
No, this is wide of the off-stump, a slower ball, which really just bounces its way along the ground through to the keeper, and there is no run.
This equals the world record, so someone else has done it as well.
So, for whom and against whom did he take 5 wickets in an over? We need to know.
Targo.
Yeah.
Which bowler has taken 5 wickets in an over?
Well, we'll come back to that. Wagner in again to Butler, goes back and then has to reach for one, trying to cut it. It was way outside the off-stump and quite high. But again, they decline the easy single that's there. And as I say, we're in a bit of a stalemate position unless he gets one right up in the slot and then goes through with it, as he did just once or twice before lunch.
Okay. There have been a number. I don't know if they're in test matches though. South Africa on left arm equal the world record. He reduced Wellington.
That's not a test match.
No, it's not. I'm not saying it's in a test match. I'm saying just five wickets and over in first class cricket. He reduced Wellington from 136 for 4 to 136 for 9 in the final over before lunch. Wagner joined a select list which includes Bill Copson, Derbyshire versus Warwickshire, 1937.
Wagner in again. Big, horrible full toss outside the off stump, which he hammers. Should get back for a second. Good diving stop out there by who else but Mitchell Santner. And they jog back the second quite happily. Butler is now past the 2,000 runs in Test cricket.
There's a Henderson. William Henderson for the Northern Transvaal versus Orange Free State in 1938. Pat Pocock. Surrey versus Sussex, 1972.
Wow.
And Yasser Arafat.
Oh, yes.
Wasn't he from the PLO?
Well, he was, but there was another one as well. A cricketing one. Onto the back foot goes Jos Buttler to, however, a fairly full ball and just chops it into the offside. Can't get the single. It's the end of the over. He has exposed Leach to Tim Southey. Score is 334 for 8. Sorry,
Yasser was a one-test wonder, wasn't he? For
Yasser Arafat?
Yes.
He played mainly for Kent and Sussex, wasn't he?
Kent, Sussex. He played a season for Surrey.
Did he play a season for Surrey?
Yes.
Well, he got his 5 wickets and over whilst playing for Rawalpindi versus Faisalabad in 2004.
Okay, well, there you go. So how many of them all together? 4?
4.
4, right, okay. Well, every day's a learn day.
Chris Charlie asked a question: is Wagner's name not pronounced like the German composer or
Wagner. Seemingly not. Seemingly not.
Seemingly not.
It's as in Robert Wagner.
Yes,
Hence the jingle.
indeed, not Richard Wagner. Leach is on 13. He's going to be facing Southey, who has 4 wickets. England batted now for 118 overs, so what the run rate's up at 2.83. There seems to be a bit of a delay between overs for some unknown reason. So Joss Butler standing, almost looking into the middle distance. Not sure what he's thinking about. It's Jack Leach to face.
He's
and
thinking, run a single, run a single.
And he's got 2 slips in the gully and a forward short leg quite deep. It's right up there by Southey, defended square on the offside, and there is no run.
Man, you have to sign into Cora. What's Cora?
I have no idea. Is it some sort of question and answer?
Some sort of... Yes, it is. It's
Like an Ask Jeeves used to be.
Yes, it
Ask Jeeves, that was a
provides
shit search engine, wasn't
answers to questions that people pose.
Yes. But you have no idea whether the answers are actually correct or not.
Remember the days of before Google? Before Google was omnipotent.
Messi Jez has joined us.
Hello,
and he says,
Messers. Southey bowls a short one and Leach ducks underneath it, goes down over his back, and there is no run.
He says, I know I'm at Gorilla Cricket when the first words I hear are, well, I do eat pastry. Morning all.
You do indeed know that you are at Gorilla Cricket. If you hear that on any other station, you shouldn't do because it's been copyrighted. Now let's have a look. Joss Butler's Test batting career via the various teams. His highest average is against New Zealand. This is only his 3rd match against them, but he's averaging 43 against India in 11 matches, which is pretty good. Southey, again at the end of his run, bustles up and bowls to Leach, and Leach flicks a ball swinging into his legs on its way down to Wagner at long leg. He takes a single.
You got to say with Leach, he's got a pretty good stance, pretty good.
Well,
he dresses the ball pretty well. It always seems to get, when he plays that shot across his pads, he always gets the. He hardly ever gets beaten. His head's in the right position. He's not falling over.
No, we're just looking at how Curran was out, and they're comparing how Curran and Leach are playing, and I think he does keep his head a little bit more still and in position. Sometimes, though, you can lose your balance because the ball is just so flaming good. Anyway, Southey again. Runs in past the umpire. Bowls a short one. It's pulled powerfully by Butler. But I'm not really sure what the point of actually going into a shot like that is when you know you're not going to take the run as it goes out to deep mid-wicket. You might as well just, I don't know, just jab it. Why try and smash it straight to mid-wicket if you're not going to take the run? Odd, I think. Maybe he's just sort of keeping his timing for when he does get one that he can put out of the ground.
Well, I'll be taking the singles because
Well, I would too. I mean, I think Jack Leach is
because it's playing into New Zealand's hands at the moment. They're getting lots of free shots where they don't get any runs at the moment.
Well, yes.
So take the runs, make them bring them in, bring the field up, and then you've got chances to hit over the top.
Yep. It's not bright from England at the moment. Southey wide on the crease. No foot movement there from Butler, but he chops it away square. Wagner is now at deep cover, and they have taken a single this time because it is the 5th ball of the over. And England moved on to 336 for 8. Butler has 33. Leach has just 1 ball to negotiate of this over. He's on 14 from 47 deliveries. He can occupy the crease, can't he? That's what he can do, Jack Leach. When you think how many balls did he face in that one not out?
It does take a long time for him to clean his glasses when you get it out of the helmet.
Ah, that's true, yes. That's possibly why there was a delay between the overs. 2 slips of gully, a shortish extra cover, a man at forward short leg, mid-on long leg. That's all I can see at the moment. And also a mid-off, actually. And is he going to come around the wicket? He's sort of hinting that he might be coming around the wicket. Certainly wants a change made to the field. He's waving his arm about. And he's getting the man coming over from forward short leg.
It looks like he's going to slant the ball across him with that field.
Making him drive at it, I suppose. He's got almost 2 short extra covers. Is well left by Leach outside the off stump. Wouldn't be tempted. That's the end of the over. 336 for 80.
In international cricket, the most taken by a bowler in a single over is 4 wickets. This has happened in 6 times in Test cricket. 5 Englishmen and 1 Pakistani.
Is that right?
Yes,
The one Pakistani, is it Wazir Akram?
it is indeed.
5 Englishmen. Are they household names?
3 I know of.
Caddick
Yes.
against West Indies.
Yep. 2001, that was the latest one. Wazir Akram was 1990. Before that was 1978. Englishman. Stop looking at the screen, Hendo.
I can't see. How can I see without my glasses on? For goodness sake.
Your short time.
78, John
Long
Lever.
time. No.
78.
Derek, Derek Underwood.
No.
No Botham? Ian Botham?
No.
Wagner starting a new over, and it's smashed by Joss Butler, but
Yeah.
to no real effect. It's Colin de Grandon takes it on the first bounce at deep mid wicket. This is pointless from England. For goodness sake, get your act together, Joss, and have faith in Leach. Take the run, as Jason says, make them come in. This is pointless otherwise. It's going to take England a long time to score anything. He's in. He bowls another short one. This time he doesn't time it as he
Got to run
fetches
that.
it.
It is ridiculous. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
this is poor from England. It's a very poor tactic. I mean, I understand if you have someone like Chris Martin at the other end, but when you've got Jack
even-
Leach, who's got a 92 in Test cricket.
Exactly. Even Broad could bat, and he's number 11. You know, I mean, he should rotate the strike and have trust in him.
Yeah, this is.
And he's been out there for 48 balls now, Leach, hasn't he? You
Yeah.
know.
I think he's earned the respect now.
Yeah, I would
you'd
have thought so, wouldn't you? We're trying to think of 78 who may have taken 4 wickets in an over for England.
Chris Old.
Yes.
Oh, good call.
1965.
Oh, we'll come back to that. Wagner, he goes right across. He's not going to reach that. He's thrown
bit
it
wide,
so
isn't
wide at the off stump. Saw him move.
Ooh.
And, well, it could have been given a wide, but he'd gone a long way across. And it again, it sort of died when it pitched and ran through awkwardly for Watling.
65.
Brown.
No. You'll kick yourself when you know.
An Englishman from 65.
F.S. Truman.
No.
We'll kick ourselves when we know. It's got to be Brian Close. No?
No.
Smashed again from short ball. This one runs a little bit more slowly. He's playing a sort of
try the
forehand
other
smash,
Brian.
isn't he?
Brian Statham.
Connections with this show.
Connections with this show. Now you've got me thinking. Connections with this show.
Is he in our theme?
Ah,
Don't know if he's in our theme.
could be. Well, I'm going to think about that while commentating, which is not the easiest thing to do. Wagner again. Left arm over. And a slower ball, which again Butler waits for, smashes it
Oh,
down to
come
deep
on.
mid-off, and this is just pointless. This is utterly pointless. It's going to be a maiden here probably, unless of course now he will take the one run for the final ball of the over. If
Well, he won't. He'll
can.
take the 4 because the field will come up.
Well, then that kind of isn't the objective, is it? If you're trying to keep Leach off strike and you go for the 4 now, then you're going to still expose Leach to the beginning of the next over.
I mean, Leach has only faced, 14 balls less than fucking Butler.
I know. Yeah, it's ridiculous. We're still thinking about a man who took 4 wickets in an over in 1965 for England.
With connections to the show.
Wagner bowls. He drives uppishly. And he's going to get one. He would actually become able to come back for 2, but I presume he won't, because that would be silly. And they settle for the 1. That's all they've got off the over. 337 for 8. Connections with this show.
Whilst you're thinking about that, not for Dennis replying to messages says, you don't just usually hear that in the second session of the day. Hashtag nap time. For many of our listeners.
I don't know what. There's some sort of clue coming from the bear there.
And,
where he's,
Neil Franklin says Neil Wagner is in the Artist 11 like what Darren Van Gogh is.
Sorry, I'm not really paying attention to the tweets because the bear's making all sorts of funny gestures to my
Well,
left.
the
As a-
name on the previous tweet.
Oh, Fred Titmus.
Yes.
Oh,
Thank you.
God.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Christmas, how did we not get that? So we got how many more we got to get? 1,
2.
2 more. Year?
1947.
Ooh.
Now we're getting old. I never heard this man.
Okay, well we won't.
Although his name goes with a man who was an actor in Breaking Bad.
Oh, God, I've only just started watching that.
The actor.
Brian, somebody.
Aaron Paul.
No, Brian. Yeah, exactly. What's Brian's last name?
In
Statham.
No,
Oh,
the actor.
Cranston.
Yes.
Is that right? So it's Cranston, is it?
Yeah, it's Cranston. His name's Ken Cranston.
Ken Cranston. Okay, this is pulled by Jos Buttler out to deep square leg, and again they don't take the run. This is brainless cricket from England, I'm afraid to say.
Very much so. Ken Cranston was England versus South Africa in 47. Fred Tits was England versus New Zealand 65. Chris Holt, England versus Pakistan in 78. Weathermark Crown, Pakistan versus West Indies in 1990. Andy Caddick versus West Indies in 2001. And the last one, Maurice Alom.
Ooh. Now he's gone up in the
That's
air with
out.
that one, and that's stupid from Butler. I mean, this is utterly stupid.
Oh!
However, is that poor old Jeetan Raval
It
coming
is.
in off the cover boundary? He spilled that, and England will have got 2 runs there. Well, Butler's patience ran out, but you know the point is to stop a wicket falling, and if you do that, your wicket will fall, and in fact you'll be out, and not Jack Leach
Only
will be
got
out.
1 there. Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, this is just real brainless cricket from England. I mean, you just take the fucking singles and let Leach go on. If Broad comes out, and if you want to go on with this, then try it then. But Leach has proven that he's more than capable of sucking up balls and getting runs. You know.
Why is that New Zealand fielder just watching Raval drop it when he's about 3 yards away, can just walk back to it and catch it?
That was a very obvious "fuck's sake, mate" from Tim Southey there.
He's in, bowls to Butler. Butler cuts well and powerfully, but it's well fielded by who is
Latham,
that?
I think.
Was it Latham or Henry Nichols at extra cover?
Could be Henry Nichols.
So he got a rather lucky 2 there, Butler.
No, you got.
No, he's still on
has he got
strike.
to, yeah.
Pay
I think
attention.
if I was Jack Leach, I'd be walking down the pitch and saying to him,
Yeah, what are you up to? What the hell do you think you're doing?
calm down, let me take the strike a bit.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'd be doing as well.
Well, I mean, what you would say about that catch is that, you know, the man is coming in, so it's easier to take the catch than going back. We need to see where he started from, really. Maybe he's looking
He's
into the sun
starting.
there.
I think he's starting right on the boundary.
No, I meant the guy that was at cover, extra cover, cut again by...
Oh, he's going to get 2
Poor
for that.
old
If he-
Jeetan Ravel. He almost slid past that, so he will get back for 2 more. He's having a nightmare, the poor man. And England move on to 341 for 8. 2 balls still remaining in this over. Yeah, hang on. Henry Nichols thought about going for it, and then he pulled out because he saw Jeetan Ravel motoring in off the...
Well, Nichols had about 2 yards to go, and fucking
Yeah, he
poor old
probably
Jeetan
should-
Ravel came in from the bloody boundary.
Well, I suppose when he looked up and saw Jeetan Ravel coming in at that pace, he thought there's no point in both of us going for it.
and
Why don't
breaking
you
each
call
other.
for it?
Yeah, well, wide of the off stump, cut with great power by Jos Buttler. That has sped away to the boundary at extra for 4 runs.
It's me, Sanshi. It's me, Sanshi.
Maurice Alom was against New Zealand, by the way.
Okay,
So
what
that-
year was that?
That was 1929. So
Ah.
2 4 wickets and over versus in a Test match versus New Zealand. 2 versus the West Indies.
Mm-hmm.
1 versus Pakistan. 1 versus South Africa.
Okay.
And Mog says, is a 65 bowler Che Guevara? No.
No.
Spicy Golden Duck says, hello gorillas, I was offline this morning, but if you can read this, I've managed to get back online. It's even warmer and windier than yesterday here in Mount Maunganui.
Warmer and windier, so is it kind of warm breeze out there?
Yeah. And Neil Franklin said, if Johnny B had done this, he'd been burnt at the stake by now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure he would.
Well, if Johnny B had sort of taken his hat off, he'd been burned.
Well,
Full
that's
stop.
true. That's true. Well, now Kane Williamson is standing by a rather displeased teapotting Tim Southey. They're discussing the field. They've got slipper gully, extra cover,
Well, they're trying to
mid-off,
work out where they can bowl at him where he won't try and hit a single.
backward point, and he is going to take a single very easily because he's pushed it from behind point. There is poor old
Well,
Jeetan Raval. And he does take the single for the final ball. 9 runs off the over, 346 for
I think
8.
Jeetan Ravel came in from where he was there to catch that last.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And Henry Nichols is like 3 yards away.
Well-
Henry has to fucking call that. And
Well, he may have done, but if he just sees this bloke pelting in and he knows he's going for it, and he's showing no signs of sort of having taken it into his consciousness that Henry Nichols might be a better bet to go for it, then pops. That's why Henry Nichols didn't in the end.
News from the ground from Spicy Golden Duck says, for what it's worth, the crowd is as vexed as you are by Butler's batting.
Oh, good.
And Jersey's England says, Leach can suck up balls. Well, he is a leech.
which is very true. Well, he's
A
gonna,
leech on the balls doesn't sound too good.
well, he's going to face a ball at least from Neil Wagner.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. Butler got the run, didn't he? So he's on to 43. Oh, it's a very strange field now. They've got a fly slip in. Wagner in. Oh, awful ball. Very
Okay.
wide, and it's given as a wide, and quite rightly.
Absolutely.
Wide.
Slower, wider one from Wagner. I think he was trying to get him to stretch and take pace off it, which would have
Yep.
enabled the ball to go.
We're
up
all
in
on the
air.
same page apart from Josh Butler. Paul Turkington says, Leach hasn't given a chance in 50 balls. I know you're on the same page, but why on earth protect him?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Here comes Wagner again into Butler. Butler cuts high. And is he going to be caught? He is.
Fucking
Now,
idiot.
that is just brainless from Josh Butler. Now, I've heard John out there in the green room saying he doesn't rate Butler and doesn't think he should be in the team. And I think he showed a real lack of common sense there. He's taken at backward point. And that's just very, very, very silly.
It was a very sort of strange bravado innings,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
it's
It's kind of like,
ridiculous.
I can do this, I'll take on it with the tail. It's just a bit pointless.
Santa takes the catch. Simple one for
In
him.
fact, I'm going to give him this.
Fuck off! Just fuck off!
That's annoyed me.
It's annoyed me.
On your bike, mate.
I'm sure Grubby will be upset at us having a go at the blue-eyed gimlet man. But
Well, I don't know, because he's kind of been quite insulting to his Somerset teammate and his
Well.
boyhood friend.
What would Annie say, I wonder,
Well-
if she's still awake?
I don't know whether she will be. But it brings Stuart Broad out to face Neil Wagner, which will make for quite
Oh,
good
that
fun.
made for quite good fun, yeah.
Yeah. But whether it means that England's innings will last much longer.
Grrr.
I mean, I understand going for your shots, but if you've got people up, but when you've got everyone back, it's just like
Just take the single.
they frustrated him out, didn't they?
Yeah, they
Basically,
did. Why
he's
didn't he
fallen into their trap completely.
take the single?
As you said, or sorry, it was Jason said, take the single, make them come in,
And
Make
then-
them think about doing something different.
make them think about doing something different, then go over the top. I mean, if he hadn't had a man back on the boundary there and he played that shot, the uppercut, he gets 4 runs for it, doesn't he?
Exactly.
But with a man back, he gets nothing for it apart
Yeah.
from a wicket. It's silly.
Yeah, it's dumb. Anyway,
And the walk of shame.
Quite right too.
this man's in.
What would make Broad walk?
If his stumps were knocked
What
down,
would make Broad walk?
caught 5 feet off the
What
ground.
would make Broad walk?
If he trod on his
What would
stumps,
make Broad walk?
if God was one of the
What
arms,
would make Broad walk? Broad walk.
He's still got an average of 19.08
I was
over
looking
3,000 test runs.
That's quite good from square leg.
It is.
Also, I was looking at his cumulative averages the other day, and after 8 matches, he had a batting average of 41, would you believe? And that was before he scored the 169. Now, they didn't even take a single for that ball while it was in the air, so it is broad facing, and he just clips it up to mid-on.
I bet you just walked off in disgust.
I just don't understand.
Can you imagine what EOI and Morgan would have said?
He
if
did just walk off in disgust.
walked off,
He
he
didn't
just-
even fucking think about making a cross.
No, he didn't.
Just a wank.
Sorry, Joss, that's just poor. It's poorly
This isn't
thought.
all about you, mate.
thought out. Wagner in. He bowls him the bouncer. PJ Watling has all sorts of trouble trying to reach that above his head, and they're going to get through for a bye. 3:49 for 9. The score should move on.
I
to
imagine he saw that quite late behind Stuart Broad because there's quite a lot of
Stuart Broad.
to get round with the ball.
Indeed so. Now, what are we looking at here? I have no idea what.
Oh,
was
he's
in-
off the pitch.
Who's off the pitch?
A fielder.
Mitchell Santner. Ooh, now, well, I mean, that's up. Surely that's up to the 4th official to have, or the upstairs umpire to have pointed out. Maybe he was just signing an autograph and then just
Yeah.
jumped back on.
I
That's
don't
probably
think-
what's happening. They
I
shouldn't
don't
really
think it
do that.
matters, does it?
I'm not sure. Edged by Leach.
Sweet,
Now
good
that's
shot.
clever. That's
That's
what
quality.
you needed. It's
Beautiful
no
shot.
third man, and he picks up 4 runs.
Super shatter, super shatter, super shatter, super shatter, super shatter, rocka, rocka, super shatter.
See, they don't set a field for that one, my man.
Indeed, indeed.
Well, all he needs to do now, Jack Leach, is just keep going and
Well, no,
emphasise the point to Josh Butler that I can bat.
well, yeah, that's true. But whether Broad will play
Allow
that-
him to do that.
Allow him to do that. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Broad could get a 20 here.
Well, he could, but whether he will play in the requisite manner is what you have to factor in. 352 for 9, 350 up for that for England with that boundary.
We've got a 3-man change.
3-man change in a minute after this ball, in fact. Oh no, there's a wide as well, so there's 2 more balls in this over. Short one, played well by Leach. He got that to ground very quickly. It was an awkward one, right up in his armpit, and there is a short leg there, but he played it square of him, and he enjoyed it. He smiles, has a little bit of a joke, perhaps with himself, or perhaps with one or two of the fielders out there. He's now moved on to 18. What do you think, guys? It was brainless cricket, wasn't it, from Joss? Utterly brainless. Everyone is agreed that it is utterly brainless from Joss. That's what marks out this England team, the utter lack of intelligence. Short again, and down the leg side, taken by Walling. That is the end of the over. England have moved on to 352 for 9. Who's coming in to do ball by ball? I believe it's going to be John. It's going to be John doing ball by ball. And we will leave you with a little jingle.
We need your
Alternative cricket commentary. Bringing you laughs, bringing you jingles, bringing you joy. We are Gorillas. We need your... Patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket.
It's a bizarre dismissal to end a really bizarre passage of cricket.
Yeah, it was. I think we're all unanimously agreed in here that we don't really know what England were trying to do. Or
Well, if they're taking the 1s and 2s, that 352 could be 385 by now. And you'd rather be 385 for 9 than 352 for 9, wouldn't you?
yeah, absolutely you would.
There we go.
I just wonder if there's anybody out there, Tony, that's going to disagree with us and say, no, I totally get it.
Haven't heard of them yet.
If so, please let us know that we've got that wrong. Anyway, it's Tim Southey coming into Broad, who's beaten all ends up by that.
Hook, line and.
Absolutely, all ends up. Just half waved at it, nearly shaved the off stump.
It's a cracking delivery because that's gone out, then come back in again.
Yeah, far too good for Stuart Broad.
By the way, you're listening to John Batham on Ball by Ball.
Indeed, my first Test match stint. But yeah, I think that previous ball might have been a challenge even for his father, but there we are.
As he nudges a single.
Nudges a single, yeah.
Indeed.
We're now flashing up a stat that New Zealand's last 100 wickets in home tests have all been taken by pace bowlers and none by spinners. The wait goes on for a New Zealand spinner to take a wicket in a home test.
Not great news for Mitchell Santner, is it?
No,
really?
The last one to take a wicket wasn't him. I looked this up yesterday. It was Todd Astle in the second innings of the Auckland test, where obviously England collapsed to 58 all out in the first innings, but Astle took 3 for in the second.
Here's Southey again. Into Leach, who lets that one go. That's too wide to tempt him. Taken by Watling.
Anna Forsyth sent us a film of ice hockey. Says, I'm trying this again, lads. Cricket audio, hockey visuals. This time with the delights of Gorilla Cricket on comms. Wish me luck.
Luck indeed.
We could try and commentate on the ice hockey. Can you imagine Gorilla or ice hockey?
The problem with ice hockey, I like watching ice hockey in person. The one time I've seen it was New Year's last year. I can't see the puck on TV. It does make it difficult.
Here's Southey
True
again.
enough.
Into Leach, who pushes this one out to backward point. No run.
But isn't ice hockey basically just a fight, and the puck just gets in the way occasionally?
It can be. I mean, there are designated players in ice hockey who do the fighting. We're seeing this replay of the Santner catch to get rid of Butler. He was signing an autograph just as Wagner was running into bowl. You see him there. He doesn't realise that Wagner's about to bowl. Realises, oh crap! Then has to hurdle the boundary board and get back into position. And Butler didn't realise the deep point was there either. And Santner just sort of appears in his vision, taking the catch. So,
do you think he played a shot he wouldn't have otherwise have played?
I think maybe.
Southey's in, and it's just pushed out to short cover. Yeah, I think that's an issue. I mean, does he play the shot if he sees the fielder on the field before the ball's bowled?
One would assume not. It was I'd assume he was trying to I don't know what he was trying. No, I do know what he was trying to do. If he hasn't seen the fielder there, that's one thing. But we've seen a few times short balls where Butler hasn't tried to hit sixes. He's tried to sort of hit flat fours. If he tries to hit that for 6, it probably goes for 6.
Southey again. That's again far too wide, and taken by Watling.
Nick Short says Somerset to the rescue. That was 6 minutes ago. Half of Somerset is still there. Well, I suppose that is. Yes, of course. Because Joss is no longer Somerset, is he? So Somerset in this case is Jack Leach. Annie, I don't know if she stayed up now that the blue-eyed boy is gone. Derek Willis says, look, it's not like Kane's going to score 200 or something. Oh, wait. And Anna Forsyth says, I have plenty of love for the blue-eyed boy from Taunton, but he's played a fucking idiotic innings. We are agreeing, Anna.
The innings was half the innings was really good in the end. 43 off 70 in the position that he came in. He saw 4 wickets fall in no time at the other end, or 3 in 2 overs. 43 off 70. It's a useful enough contribution, but the second half of that innings was just weird.
I think the difficulty with it was that you're trying to protect a player that doesn't look in any trouble. Here's Wagner into Broad, who sort of pokes that off his hip to mid-wicket. Yeah, I mean, Leach wasn't looking in any trouble, so why are you trying to protect a man who's not playing and missing at every ball? Or
and who from having played with him since you were 11 years old, presumably you've known for a while that he's quite handy with the bat. And certainly this summer should have told you that. Yeah,
recent history should tell you that, shouldn't it? Wagner in again to Broad. Another short ball which he fends off to leg slip, which is now in place.
Gordon Anderson has retweeted saying this is an interesting stat, and the stat was by Francis Payne, and I think it's the one you were just talking about, Knuckle, which is New Zealand wicket takers in home tests since the win against England in the day-night test at Eden Park. Pace 100, spin 0.
Yep.
Kiwi Callie quite rightly points out you can't get wickets if you don't actually bowl the spinner.
Also true.
Wagner again, and again fended off by Broad.
So just the last word I'll say on the Butler dismissal. To add to the weirdness of it all, it was a rank long hop from Neil Wagner.
Yeah, it was. It's all in all fairly ugly cricket.
Pretty much. The catch was good. Quite simple, but he made it look simple.
Here's Wagner again to Broad.
Ooh,
gets in a right tangle with that one. That was shorter still. Broad had come right across his stumps to outside off stump, and it's hit him on the arm guard, I think. Seems to have gone right through the defensive shot and hit him on the arm guard. And
it's quite impressive to beat Stuart Broad for height, as it were. I wonder if he might bring a man in. Well, bring a man in short on the offside, and also, hey, I have to wonder when the Yorker's coming.
Yeah, imminently, I would have thought. Here's Wagner. That's another short ball. Push past short leg. Fielded by short mid-wicket.
And so far, 5 balls, 5 short balls, 5 awkwardly played short balls, 5 dot balls.
Surely the Yorker is coming.
Or the full one just outside off stump, which Broad will have a poke at.
Yeah. Let's not get into poking. We'll be back to the Pope, won't we?
Oh Lord, don't go, don't please.
Yeah, there it was. Knuckle called it. It was it was a pitched up ball outside off stump, and he's dragged it on, taken out the off stump. Latham's already sprinting off to get his pads on, and that is the end of the innings. 353 all out. Broad bowled by Wagner for 1.
No.
And he's sprinting off to get his bowling boots on. We will have 10 minutes for the change of innings. 353 is okay.
It's okay, but a little disappointing after the platform that had been built, I think.
But also not bad after having lost 4 for 18 in 20 balls. It's not a bad recovery from there.
No,
so
it's been it's been interesting, it's sort of seesawed between exactly everything we hoped we'd see, which is gritty, determined, crease occupation, platform building, frustration that batsmen didn't go on past their 50s and 70s in a couple of cases to make their tons. Obviously 90 for 91 was it for Stokes. Then a great recovery. Butler and Leach together, they started to get the scoreboard moving, and it was all looking great, so well done them. And then as New Zealand started to strangle them, that stubborn refusal to take singles, which could have put another 25 on the score, that was just very frustrating, and the inevitable kind of happened when Butler was out.
Yeah, it's the third, I think it's the third time that's happened in the last few months where Butler's played, in the end, quite a good innings and has added a lot to England's total, mostly batting with Leach, but then has been unable to find ways to score in a sensible manner, in a non-risk-free manner, and ended up doing something a bit silly. But and probably end up not getting credit for useful scores. Everyone's going to harp on the dismissal, and understandably so.
And yet, surely this is the very thinking behind Ed Smith's selection of Butler and him playing at 7, because he is batting with the tail, and yet he seems to have at least half made a mess of it today.
Yeah, really. He did. It was frustrating, but I suppose you give credit to the fact that they were 40 odd valuable runs. But yeah, it's sort of a curate's egg of an innings. 400 I think was the target. They've fallen substantially short of that. It will be very, very, very interesting to see how Archer, Broad, Curran, Stokes and Leach. Have I missed anyone?
No,
well, I think
that's pretty much likely.
Unless Root or Denley get a bowl.
Yeah.
Well, I think this spell with the new ball now is crucial to the match, isn't it? Really, because
are we entering? Dare we say, at a crucial next hour?
We definitely are. I'm sure you're going to take us through the scoreboard, Knuckle. Before we do, I will just catch up on some tweets. Mog says that's some bullshit batting right there. Yeah, we agree. Gerrit Dusseldorp says, unfortunately, you are probably right. Butler out, folks in.
Steady.
Comrade. Bernski says, did somebody mention
I'd second
Josh
that,
Fenestration? Okay.
I'd second that, by the way.
I mean, if you thought it beforehand, fine, I can understand that. Folks is obviously a significantly superior keeper to Joss Butler, but and has batted very well for England, but on the strength of one okay innings.
Lou Britton Sack says you can't give a baby booze. I'm sure that's true, but the context of I'm sure there must have been a reason why 4 minutes ago that was relevant. But I agree with the principle. You shouldn't get a baby drunk. That's really not ideal parenting. Martin says LOFC 1881 says dodgy fielding. He weren't there before the ball was bowled. Well, yes, we agree, and we think that might possibly be looked at. Anna Forsyth says Nashville scored on the Canucks about a second after Broad's wicket. Expletives are plenty in my house. Yes, I'm not surprised, Anna.
It's an unfortunate concatenation of circumstances.
That would be the equivalent of Watford letting in a goal about the same time as a wicket fell, and I can sympathise.
So shall I go through the...
just 2 seconds. I just wanted to mention Karen Whalen, who says they're in Bali, but in Bali, but says it's great to see our videos. Delighted to bring them to you, Karen. And Giranyaran Panda says good morning, and good morning to you. Yes.
Good morning all. Yes, Dominic Sibley was the first to fall. He and Rory Burns put on 52 for the opening partnership before Dom Sibley nibbled an outswinger to Colin de Grandhomme. A good catch by Ross Taylor at first slip. Dom Sibley gone for 22. A bit of a partnership between Rory Burns and Joe Denley before Burns also fell to a nibbler from Colin de Grandhomme outside off stump. Simple catch from VJ Watling. Burns went for 52. Joe Root played... frankly terrible innings, 20 runs without 20 balls without scoring, then got 2 off a misfield, and then played a ridiculous poke outside off stump to give slip fielding practice to Tim Southey at second slip, giving Neil Wagner his first wicket of the day. Then there was a partnership of 83 between Joe Denley and Ben Stokes. Before Denley fell for 74, chasing one outside off stump from Tim Southey. Good catch by BJ Watling diving to his right. Joe Denley gone for 74, and England made it to 241 for 4 overnight. Ben Stokes and Ollie Pope batted reasonably fluently in the morning before Ben Stokes had a little sort of injudicious charging waft at Tim Southey, edged to Ross Taylor, who took a superb catch diving to his right at first slip. Ben Stokes gone for 91. Ollie Pope chased a wide one from Tim Southey and was caught by BJ Watling. So this was in the middle of a spell where England lost 84 for 18 in 20 balls, because next ball after Ollie Pope got out, Sam Curran got a good in-swinger and was trapped in front. He reviewed but was not saved. Sam Curran gone for a golden duck. And then Jofra Archer got off the mark with a nice boundary through backward point and then poked at one outside off stump. A decent delivery from Trent Bolt. Good catch by Tim Southey. He went for 4. At that point, England were 295 for 8. Then there was a good partnership of 47 plus 5 of 52 between Joss Butler and Jack Leach, which was the first half of it was very good and very fluently and stylishly done by Butler and Leach. The second half was frankly bizarre before Joss Butler uppercut a long hop straight to a fielder who had just been signing an autograph a minute before for 43 off 70, and then Stuart Broad was never going to last that long against Neil Wagner. 5 bounces in a row and then a full one outside off stump, which he inside edge back onto the stumps. He went for 1 off 10. Jack Leach was marooned on 18 not out off 55 deliveries. Probably should have faced more deliveries and had more opportunities to score. The bowling figures: Trent Bolt, 31 overs, 6 maidens, 1 for 97. Bowled better than I think those figures suggest. Tim Southey, 32 overs, 7 maidens, 4 for 88. Bowled quite a bit worse than those figures would suggest, but that's how it goes sometimes. Colin de Grandon, the pick of the bowlers, 23 overs, 5 maidens, 2 for 41. Economical and excellent throughout. Neil Wagner got some rewards at the end for his wholeheartedness. 32 overs, 7 maidens, 3 for 90. Mitchell Santner, not used very much. Treated harshly by Joe Denley yesterday. 6 overs, 1 maiden, none for 24. There were 17 extras, 2 byes, 11 leg byes, 1 no ball and 3 wides. England 353 all out.
So, what is our plan? Shall we do we hang here until the play restarts?
Oh, I would think so. Yes.
Yeah,
that would make sense.
There's only about 5 minutes or so now.
I think we do. I mean, going back to the dismissal of Butler, I'm wondering to myself, if Santner doesn't make it back onto the field by the time the ball's bowled, is that a no ball?
I don't think so, because you do sometimes see boundary fielders starting outside the boundary rope and walking in to be just inside the rope, but I don't know, actually. I'm not sure what the regulation is in that. If someone...
It's interesting, because the thing is, looking at the various replays, had Butler surveyed the field and had he clocked there was a wide open space there and decided then that was the place to play his shot,
only to
only
find
he
it
will
wasn't
know.
a wide open space. Yes.
If I was a reporter on the ground, I'd make it my business to go figure that out, because
certainly, I think your first question to Joss Butler in the press conference, if you get a chance, is, did you see the man?
Yeah.
One would assume he'd say no anyway, but
I think he's an honest lad. I think he'd say if he didn't if he just played a bad shot. I think he'd say so. I don't think he'd try and wriggle out of it by going, oh yeah, no, I saw a big gap and went for it, and then the gap wasn't there anymore. I think he'd tell you the truth. That would be my estimation of Joss Butler. I'd like to think I'm right.
Well, the players are returning to the field.
yeah, well, we're fairly sure about who England's opening bowlers are going to be, but we're absolutely sure about who New Zealand's opening batters are going to be.
He opens up a thing or sometimes keeps wicket. He doesn't bowl great, but I still don't want to face him. Tom Latham.
And
There's no truth to it. No, none of it. The juvenile can play cricket.
rather harsh for a man who averages 34.65, 750s and 100, which he made, I think, against Bangladesh earlier this year. Took a while to get to that first 100, but two very decent players. Tom Latham's been in superb form over the last couple of years. Got a massive double 100 last year. Averages 44 1500s and 1050s. The man wielding the new cherry for England first up will be this man.
What would make Broad walk?
If his stumps were knocked
What
down,
would make Broad walk?
caught 5 feet off the
What
ground,
would make Broad walk?
if he trod on his
What would
stumps,
make Broad walk?
if God was one of the
What
arms,
would make Broad walk? Broad walk.
I love it. Here comes Stuart Broad for the first ball of the innings, which is pushed out square on the offside by Raval.
Interesting story, Jeet Raval. He was born and brought up in Gujarat in India, played for Gujarat under-15s when he was 14 or so. And then his parents moved to New Zealand for economic reasons, basically. And Raval had to relearn his cricket in New Zealand, but he played age group cricket, state age group cricket against the likes of Ajinkya Rahane and then Jadeja and so forth.
Here's Broad again. This is pushed out on the side of the pitch.
So when he ended up playing for New Zealand under-19s against India under-19s in India, he'd already played against quite a few of the players who are in that team. I think Jadeja, Rahane, Kohli I think is a few years older, but yeah, born and kind of raised in the cutthroat environment of Indian batting. You know, there's 100 people batting for every slot.
Yeah, it's quite an adjustment to adjust from Indian conditions to conditions in New Zealand too. He'll be hoping he's got out of his mind the drop catch from earlier on, which fortunately for New Zealand didn't cost them too many runs.
Yeah, it was a bit of an odd one. Henry Nicholls stood and watched it at cover and let Jeet Raval run in 20 yards only to drop it.
Yeah, not great communication, you would think, between the two.
No, that would have been equally extraordinary, wouldn't it, if he'd have dropped the catch?
Here's Broad again, and Raval lets this one go outside the off stump, taken by Butler.
So you're right, Tony. The only thing that could have made that the Butler wicket more ridiculous is if Santner had dropped the catch.
Well, then it wouldn't have been a wicket, but I know what you mean. Ravi Nair says, were Butler and Leach given instructions at lunch that caused the change in tactics? Good question.
Who knows?
Good question indeed. Neil Franklin says, I don't know what the law is really boundary, but it's what the situation deserved. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, good ball.
Ooh, that one's again left by Raval, but it was a lot closer to the off stump. And it moved a lot more once it went past the bat as well.
Left on length. It was a good leave on length as well because it passed way over the stumps and a good take from Joss Butler. Broad is so good round the wicket to left-handers, as David Warner knows to his cost.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, he's come straight round the wicket just to try and cramp Raval. Hasn't quite got one in the right spot yet, and that's a little bit too wide as well. Taken by Butler.
Well, he's looking for the one that goes. Sorry, he's looking for the one that goes away
Yeah,
from the
yeah,
from the
indeed. He's
left-hander.
looking, yeah.
Yeah, maiden to start, and a
Yeah.
good maiden, not one of those occasional, what they used to call Mullally maidens, where they're all 2 feet wide off stump.
Oh, smacked away to mid-off or cover, but straight, yeah. Yeah, where
A
you
Mullally maiden.
A Mullally
Wow.
maiden, indeed.
And so the first appearance with the ball in this series of Jofra Archer.
Well, one would assume anyway, unless
One would assume, unless something very strange is going to happen. No, indeed. Archer's got the cherry in his hand.
Archer.
Can't help feeling that jingle's very appropriate for Archer. He's a very sort of amiable, gentle sort of soul to talk to.
Did you see him having fun on the Segway before the start of play yesterday?
Yeah, and you know, here he is anyway, running into Walter Latham, who pushes that out square of the wicket on the offside.
The only slight weakness for that jingle is that for a very, very international audience that we have, a soap opera from Radio 4
Yeah.
about farming life in the UK it's doesn't necessarily have broad international appeal, but
No.
nonetheless,
I wonder if
I like it anyway.
It probably goes out on the World Service, doesn't it? The Archers.
Yes, maybe.
But yes, it is a British cultural reference.
Here he is again, running in. That's a bouncer, which is comfortably ducked by Latham. Through to Butler. Yeah, he's a very jovial, genteel kind of soul.
Yeah, he is. Likeable fella. Except when he's...
until you put a ball in his hand, yeah. Well, as somebody said about him, you know, everything about his run-up says hello, and everything about his delivery stride says goodbye. You know, and here he is again, running in. Oh dear, that's a very wide one.
Oh.
And Butler's misfielded it, and it's going to go for 4 byes.
Oh, Lord.
Dear me.
Ugly cricket.
That really was horrible. That was utterly horrible.
I mean, it's gone a long way off the seam after it passed the stumps. It wasn't that wide when it passed the batter, and then it's kept swinging and swinging and swinging.
It's climbed a bit, hasn't it?
And
But
Butler's ended up from in front of first slip, palming that round the post for a corner.
I think Joe Root would have dealt with it.
yeah, he probably would have done.
Butler's it came off the tips of his wicket-keeping gloves, didn't it?
Trouble is, as many people would also say, I suspect that Ben Folkes would have dealt with it too.
The better ball.
That one's squeezed past the infield. It's running up towards the boundary, but it's flicked back by the fielder and tidied up. And they ran 3, I think. Yeah, they did 3. So Latham's off the mark with 3.
Looks like it's Jofra Archer from the Mount End and Stuart Broad from the City End, for those of you on End Watch.
Somebody called Paul Howarth is watching us on Cricket Tracker.
Sounds
keeping us under observation.
Sounds a dodgy sort.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Only dubious looking picture as well. But anyway, he's got us under surveillance.
Yeah, I had a teacher at comprehensive school called Mr. Howarth.
Oh.
He was fairly ominous as well. You didn't want to upset him, that's for sure.
Well, Grubby will be a tad upset probably about the way the Somerset contribution tailed away.
Here's Archer again. And that's again beaten Gully. Sending the fielder running back towards the fence, but this time it's just 1, but it means that Raval's off the mark. 8 for none. 1 ball of Archer's first over to come. Nothing out of the ordinary yet, really, apart from the one that climbed after it went past the back.
Yeah, that was a bit harsh on the bowler, possibly, I think.
Yeah,
That's the kind of thing that happens at Lords a lot.
I think Butler should have gathered it.
Oh, Lord.
Here's Archer again. Through to Butler. End of the over. 8 for none.
We're measuring things in kilometres. I can never think in kilometres an hour. What's about 138?
Well, I can look it up, but I'm trying to remember exactly how much it is. It's just shy of 90, I think.
Oh, that's just sharpish.
So, yeah, he's swiftish.
Warming to his task.
Yeah.
Meantime, we're watching replays of Stuart Broad multiple times getting David
getting
Warner.
rid of David Warner, yes.
And the
who
one
sadly is playing somewhere else.
Yeah, the one time that Warner did get a start, he got to 61, he was then cleaned up by an absolute cracker from Jofra Archer. Speaking of which, in that Test match, Australia are 84 for no loss.
Yes, with Mr. Warner going rather well.
Warner 44 off 69, Joe Burns 33 off 50.
Here's Broad. That very nearly gets through. It takes the inside edge and goes out square on the leg side.
Did it nearly get through, or was that just Stuart Broad giving the impression that it nearly got through?
No, I think it did. I think it's taken the inside. I think it's taken the inside edge of the bat. I don't think the batsman's in control of that shot
you don't
particularly.
So it wasn't just Broad over egging the pudding. But exuberant fellow.
Here's Broad again. That's too wide. Left alone by Ravel.
If you're referenced Tony, 138 kilometres an hour is just under 86 miles an hour.
Yeah, so he's still got another gear to go through.
Broad, by the way, bowling at 128 kilometres an hour, which is not particularly rapid, but Broad's been in fine form with the ball pretty much all of 2019.
He's probably concentrating more on direction than speed, we would think.
James Humberston says, to be fair, Guerrilla Cricket, Jofra Archer is actually Jamaican British, so an in-Brit jingle is probably fine.
Barbados. He's from Barbados.
Yes, he is. He's Barbadian.
Yeah.
He probably wouldn't want to be called Jamaican. I don't think.
But we understand your point.
Yeah. That's a nice little push from Jeet Revel there off the third ball of the over, just straight to point. What have we got in the slip cordon? So I think we've got Root at first, Stokes at second. That's Dom Sibley at third. And I think Denley at gully.
Yes, I think that's right. Here's Broad again. That one's more on the stumps. It's played out on the onside to mid-on.
Ravi Nair says, I bet that dodgy Paul Howarth chappie is one of those IPL fixer types. If you have saved his number, you're doomed.
Well, that's slandered Paul Howarth.
He's one of our number. Normally masquerades under the name of Grubby. I don't actually. I've never known why. Actually, maybe he'll tell me one day.
Here's Broad again. It's turned away on the leg side, but straight to the fielder. At square leg, no run. Something has tickled Tony's fancy.
Yeah, Ravi is telling me that 138 kilometres an hour is about 86 in pounds, furlongs, and fluid ounces. For old-fashioned imperial types like me. Imperial in the measurement sense. Before I get absolutely slated of
You're having a bit
the
of
entire Twitterverse.
You're having a bit of a day of it here, Tony, aren't you, really? Here's Broad again. Oh, that's down the leg side. That's horrible. But this one is taken by Butler, end of the over.
An imperialist Pope fingerer. I might as well collect my coat now.
Well, I mean, given where Catholic priests have been putting their finger, perhaps it's right that the Pope gets some of his. Well, I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Let's not go there again, shall we?
Evil Scootus, let's interrupt that thought as quickly as we can. Evil Scooter says, I think that's incredibly harsh. Personally, I'd say England are pretty close to, if not bang on par with the score. I'd be very surprised to see a substantial Kiwi lead, and I think the English could well have a 60-80 lead on first innings.
You may well be right. I mean, we're sort of. It depends which point of England's innings you take as your benchmark, doesn't it? Because they start. The top four were very solid, but then there was that collapse of wickets. So it's one of those. We're not quite sure yet.
Here's Jofra Archer again. Into bowl, and that's on the pads, and it's pushed away into the leg side down to long leg. Is that Mr. Burns at long leg?
I think it was Leach.
Ah. I obviously missed the spectacles and the bald head, but apart from that...
Yes.
Try and isolate all of England. Actually, no, you're right, it was Rory Burns.
Aha.
Ollie Pope probably under the lid at short leg.
Yes, new boy's job, I guess. Here's Archer again. That one moves away a little bit, but Raval had already decided to leave it and was safe to do so.
Yeah, Pope was fielding there during the warm-up games at short. I don't know if he's actually any good there under the lid. It is a position. Rory Burns actually was very good there during the Ashes. I think it is a specialist position. I'm not sure that it's
often the specialist position given to the most junior member of the team.
Well, sure, but
curiously enough,
but I think you can make a serious difference there if you're
Here's
very
Archer
good.
again. That's pushed out on the offside, and they take a single.
Well, you saw how much difference.
Cover.
Sorry, you saw how much difference. People like Cameron Bancroft was superb there during the Ashes before he got dropped, and Marnus Labuschagne's very good in there too. So you can make a significant difference if you're actually good in there. We should have had a change by now, shouldn't we?
We should, yes, indeed.
Maybe the thinking in the green room is we missed 10 minutes during...
So we can have 10 more. Yeah, maybe so.
Whereas my thinking was, now I'll have to change the schedules because all the timings will have changed.
Someone else can have 10 minutes lopped off theirs and then we're back on.
Yeah, that's the other solution.
Here is Jofra
Oh,
Archer
that's-
again,
Indeed.
Round the wicket.
coming into Latham. Yes, he's switched the angle of attack. Latham just pushes that one straight back down the wicket.
Dr. S.P. Cooper says, class dismissed for the evening, and I rejoined just in time to hear the start of the New Zealand innings. So much for England batting till tea. I should have known, as an England fan, that it was fatal optimism. Dr. Cooper, you're in Michigan. Tell me where. As a regular Michigan visitor, or was up until recently.
Yeah, and me too.
2 more balls before the changeover of commentary. Here's Archer again. In, and that's just wide of the off stump. And Latham has nothing to do with it. It's gone through to Butler.
Archer warming up into the 140 kilometre an hour mark, so just climbing into the high 80s miles an hour. Such ease at the crease, such lack of evident energy expenditure. But if you've ever had the pleasure of watching him in person, you see how smoothly he goes through the gears. Absolute delight to watch.
That's on the pads, and it's played away into the leg side. This one might go all the way to the fence, I think. No, there's someone sweeping round to field, and it's just 2. A 13 for
3.
none.
3, in fact. A good running
Oh,
by
3, yes. 3 for Latham.
Latham and Revel. Latham on 7, Revel on
13 for none at the end of 4.
Yes, indeed. And we're having this little shift around now, Bear.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have a shift around, and
Time for a change of seats.
and this time we'll get it correct. Here is Rihanna.
Yep. You owe us all right. You think this alternative cricket commentary stuff comes cheap? Well, we need some dollar bills to help pay our bills, so please go to patreon.com/GorillaCricket and sign up to make a regular monthly donation. You know there is literally nothing like Gorilla Cricket's coverage, so don't be tight. Dip into your virtual pocket and throw some cash our way. See, Rihanna knows. Patreon.com/GorillaCricket.
We have had a patron today, so someone has been heeding our words. Stuart Broad is in, and that's a good lead by Tom Latham. Broad in around the wicket, angling in towards our stump. Latham left it alone. Didn't miss the top of off by much. Was probably not quite as close as Stuart Broad is making out, with his hands on head and wry smirk and saying to Tom Latham, "You lucky bugger." But past the off stump it goes, through to the keeper. There is no run. Yes, Symar, P-S-Y-M-A-R, became a $5 patron earlier today. Please do follow their example, patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket. You're listening to Gorilla Cricket coverage of England's tour of New Zealand. You join us with half an hour to go, the second session of day 2 of the first test from Maunganui. Broad very wide on the crease, angles this into Tom Latham, strikes him on the thigh pad, drops down into the leg side. There is no run. Latham on 7, Revel on 2. New Zealand 13 for no loss after England were bowled out for 353. Ben Stokes stopped scoring with 91 50s for Rory Burns and Joe Denley. And a half good and half weird 40 from Joss Butler. 43 from Joss Butler. 4 wickets for Tim Southey, 3 for Neil Wagner. And Colin de Grandin got 2 and Trent Bolt got 1. Broad yet to concede a run in his spell so far. Fires this down the leg side, and Butler has to take on the second bounce, skipping down leg. There is no run. I'm Knuckle M. Pandey. I'll be taking you through to T on ball by ball. John Batham is to my right, playing your jingles. Now to the Bear Walker is to my left, reading your social media messages.
Indeed, and Evil Scooter says, but wickets do fall, and they can tend to fall in clusters. I mean, the really good news that came out of England was that the genuine signs of grit and determination appearing out of the top 4, and it's been some time since they've looked so assured. It's kind of true, I think.
No, I think that's right.
Broad, fourth ball of the over, wide of our stump. Latham through to the keeper. There is no run. I think during the Ashes we saw some grit and determination, and we've seen openers like Mark Stoneman was not averse to sticking it out for a little while, but he didn't show any lack of grit, but he wasn't just quite good enough. But yeah, sure, a performance from most of the top order has been a long time coming for England.
I think that's why we're frustrated, isn't it? That there was that grit from the top order, and it did its job well, and we haven't quite cashed in on it. And I think that's the frustration. Yes, we've still got a decent score to bowl at, but
Broad in wide of the crease with those slips awaiting. Just does move away a little bit off the seam, but it's too wide, and Latham leaves through to the keeper. There is no run. Kane Williamson just having a little power nap in the dugout. We're hoping not to be called upon before tea. Stuart Broad yet to concede a run, as I say, but a little bit too wide, really. We've got 3 steps on the gully. The gully's quite tight in, almost at 5th slip. We've got a backward point and a short extra cover in place. Mid-off has been left open. We've got a mid-on in place as well. I'll try and give you the rest of the leg side field when I can. Stuart Broad in, last ball of his third over is tight to off stump, and it's pushed up to Jofra Archer at mid-on. 3 consecutive maidens for Stuart Broad. New Zealand 13 for no loss.
He's bowled well, isn't he? Dr. S. Cooper says, SP Cooper indeed says, I live on the eastern edge of in the southern thumb region, just across the St. Clair River from Canada. Is that west coast, east coast?
Michigan's not on the coast. It's in the middle.
Okay. That must be a lake then, I presume. But I teach in my hometown of Rochester Hills, a leafy, pleasant city north of Detroit. Most notable for being the hometown of Madonna.
That's right.
There you go.
All right. I know Michigan. Well, I don't know Michigan very well, but my partner's from there, so I know it a bit. Jofra Archer continuing bowling his third over, number 9 so far. Round the wicket he is to Jeet Raval, who leaves confidently. Big stride forward and bat up above the head. Ricky Ponting style. Through to the keeper it goes. There is no run. Archer's quickest ball of the day there, 143 kilometres an hour.
My wife spent a bit of time in Chicago. Is that Michigan?
That's Illinois. That's just over there.
Great
the other
Lake,
side of Yes, Chicago. I've spent all of a day in Chicago. I liked it and want to go back.
I thought you were going to say your wife was bowling at 143
well,
an hour. I was going to say that's
she had drinks with Steve Ticcolo.
3 steps on the gully and a very deep short leg, almost sort of halfway back to square leg. This is Fuller and Strater and Ravel in behind. This one solidly blocks back to the keeper. There is the bowler rather. There is no run. Jeet Ravel's top score was only about 15 when England last toured New Zealand, but he's had a very good run of it since. Firmly established now as Tom Latham's opening partner, and after 17 test matches got his first test 100 earlier this year against Bangladesh. Steepling bouncer from Jofra Archer, but flies over the head or over the shoulder really of Jeet Raval, taken well above his head by Joss Butler, the keeper. There is no run.
Neil Franklin, I love Rihanna. Get her on commentating with Not Fred. That'd be entertaining.
For whom?
And Comrade Bertie says, facing Jofra, I'd be measuring his speed in sphincter twitches per hour, not MPH or KPH.
Archer in from the city end, back of a length, and Ravel in behind this one and blocks in to the offside. Sam Curran coming in from mid-off field, and there is no run.
I mean, his pitch does kind of new to him a little bit, I suppose.
Yeah, it's not that quick, but it can mean that sort of a little bit like Wagner is those bounces don't go over the head. They can be difficult to get out of the way. If we saw that at Lords, actually, where Steve Smith got himself into trouble with because the bouncers were skidding through at a height he couldn't get out the way of.
Well, of course. That was the famous incident in the summer.
Full delivery from Archer, nicely played by Ravel, who is a very solid and composed player. Just blocks back to the bowler. There is no run. 5 dot balls so far.
I went under 30.5, I think, for the full of the first week. It's my first bet on this game. And I'm hoping that comes true.
30.5?
30.5, yeah.
Some indication of how good this opening partnership has been. That's quite high for a line, isn't it? Back of a length and thuds into the thigh pad of Jeet Ravel, beaten for pace genuinely on the inside edge. Dribbles out into the offside. A maiden for Jofra Archer. That's 3 maidens in a row for England. 13 for no loss after 6.
Anything over around 27.5 is usually,
yeah,
a decent size.
Yeah, these two have done very well together. Latham averages 44, Dreville in the mid 30s, and they've been established themselves as a solid opening pair.
Well, I think this is a very established New Zealand top 6. I think isn't it? That's the thing.
Well, top 7 if you include Watling.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think 61 test hundreds between them.
Yeah, very obviously Kane Williamson very much the class of the field, with Ross Taylor just behind Williamson, probably.
They must have nearly high 30s, 40 between them, haven't they?
Williamson's probably in the 20s, yeah, and Taylor probably as well. Broad continuing bowling his 4th over, round the wicket to the left-handed Tom Latham. Full delivery, Latham in behind this one very solidly indeed. Blocks back to the bowler. There is no run. Yeah, I think New Zealand are probably the second best Test team in the world. India have sort of, with the emergence of their pace attack, have been very good from the Australia tour onwards, but New Zealand are very solid and, as you say, settled outfit.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the difference here, isn't it? That you've got an England team that's in transition. It's trying a few
Broad,
new players
wide
out.
of the crease, and bowls outside off stump. Latham leaves alone, mostly on length. Through to Butler it goes. There is no run. Broad hasn't quite made the New Zealand batters play enough yet.
No, it's just too wide, isn't it? It's too
Yeah,
wide.
it's not drawing them in enough. Yeah, but I mean, New Zealand also, I mean, they don't have the resources of a lot of our sides. I mean, you notice a lot of players playing all the formats.
Yes, it's this is 8, I think, 7 or 8 played in the World Cup final. Not a particularly big player pool, and what they've done in the last few years is amazing, really, if you think about it. 3 slips and a gully as Broad is in. And Latham drops this into the offside and takes a quick single to Jack Leach at cover. The first run off the bat conceded by Stuart Broad. Latham on 8, Revel on 2.
It just kind of goes to show that your best players are genuinely the best players. It doesn't really matter what format they're in. You know. I mean, maybe more so with bowlers than batsmen. I mean, obviously there are some batsmen who really can't expand themselves. And Shaper Jara is one that springs to mind.
Yeah,
you wouldn't put him in anything but a Test side.
No, for sure. He's got a very good List A average, actually, Shaper Jara, but he's not going to trouble India's one-day team anytime soon. Broad bowling to Jeet Raval, going very wide in the crease, and beats him on the inside edge, cuts him in half. A beauty that jags back in off the seam. Possibly that leg cutter that he bowls so well, and Raval had no clue. Through to Josh Butler it goes. There is no run. Gorgeous delivery from Stuart Broad.
So wobble seam, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit with that. Traditionally, Broad from round the wicket to the left-hander takes the ball away from him, but that little change-up caught Revel in 2 minds, and we've just lost our satellite signal. Very unhelpfully. I can tell you that Australia are 98 for no loss after 24 overs at the Gabba.
And what we were saying earlier on about the about them not having as many players to pick from. I mean, I think there are pros and cons of that, aren't there? I mean, if you've got the same players playing in all formats, you can have perhaps a stronger camaraderie because of that,
and a more what you call a brand of cricket, as it were.
Yeah.
They play in a very sort of recognisable style now in New Zealand, which wasn't always the case. They were sort of having to just sort of play in whatever style they could based on the players they happened to have available.
Yeah.
But now with this sort of core that's been built under first Brendan McCullum and now Kane Williamson, that's very much been the case. I can tell you that the next delivery was foolish and off stump and defended back down the pitch for no run. I'm now watching it on my phone. Yeah, Broad in round the wicket, and yes, very solidly defended by Jeet Revel through the legs of Tom Latham. Fielded by the man at mid-on. There is no run. And back with the live action, hopefully. I'm now ball behind because I'm watching on Sky Go. Such is the troubles of independent cricket commentary services broadcasting off to you from a studio. And please, if you want to help us out with such things and give us a more stable and robust broadcasting operations, please go to patreon.com/Guerrilla Cricket and give us some money, please. Last ball of the over, Broad in full delivery and driven by Jeet Revel. Not perfectly timed, but mid-off was up and mid-off was wide. That went straight. 4 runs for Jeet Revel. He's on 6. New Zealand 18 for no loss after 7. With Bear off doing technical support, Jason G. Hiscox has found his way into the tweet and social media seats. And what do we have on the tweets and the social media, Jason?
I don't know. Where was Bear up to?
No idea. Just read something and we'll see if we've heard it.
Neil Franklin says, I love Rihanna. Get her on commentating.
We had
Not
that,
Fred.
Had that one.
I think that was the last one we had.
Comrade Bernsky says, facing Joffre, I'll be measuring his speed in to
Had that
twitches
one.
per hour.
Had that one.
Moggy's got mugged in Chicago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh dear, that's terrible.
News from the other Test match. Warner's on 51 and Australia 96 for naught.
Yeah, see that? Yeah, 100 for none they've moved on to in... we do have a change of bowling. From I'm not sure which end they started from, actually, but replacing Jofra Archer is the left-arm Demon Boychild. The middle of Surrey's crew of brothers, sons of Zimbabweans. Number 9 there. Yep.
Yeah, that'll be
Priorate
Oh, no, no, no.
Oh, no, that's the wrong one.
You seem to have deleted the Sam Curran jingle.
Okay,
That's not good.
Pass me the mic. Mike, No, it's okay. It's okay where it is. Hasn't got that desperate that Josh Butler's coming on to bowl.
That really would be terrible.
It is Sam Curran, whose first delivery is a dot ball left alone outside off stump by Tom Latham. There is no run. If you just pass me the... if you just type Curran into that in there.
Shall I get through some more tweets whilst you're fiddling
Pass me
over there?
pass me the... Yeah, apologies. The slight technical miscommunication has meant that we're in a bit of a tiz. But I can tell you that Sam Curran is on to bowl. And his first 2 deliveries have both been... well, the first one was defended and the second one was left alone by Tom Latham. There is no run.
Neil Franklin replying to Mog about getting mugged says, show off, I got mugged in Pontefract. Oh, and New Brighton. Adrian Lowe says, I must have nodded off. Good morning, chimps. Come on, England. And Kevin Partington says, good evening, Gorilla Cricket. Free Patreon advert for you. I love listening to the Gorillas all the way from Minnesota, but occasionally packets randomly drop and the feed gets paused. So
big
please,
appeal from Sam Curran. He's been given. Tom Latham has been given an LBW. Sam Curran was given LBW. Kumar Dharmasena didn't waste that much time in raising the finger. Tom Latham and Jeet Raval are having a conversation as to whether to review it. Raval has said no. So Sam Curran has struck third ball. Tom Latham gone for 8. New Zealand 18 for 1. And that's as good an opportunity. That's a joke. Play the same. That's as good an opportunity as any to jingle up the identity of England's new and now successful bowler.
Is he a batter or bowler?
Sam Curran.
What's his distinguishing feature?
Sam Curran.
He's not from Zimbabwe.
Sam Curran.
And he's beloved by Liz Yates.
Sam Curran.
There were, according to the Crick Info commentary, 2 noises and a possible mark on hotspot. So we'll look to see this again. Unhelpfully, my fellow commentators cannot see the tiny screen that I'm having to watch this on because of our issues with with our skybox. But drama indeed if Tom Latham and Jeet Raval have decided not to review, and there was indeed an inside edge. But as it is, Tom Latham gone for 8, and that brings out the New Zealand captain to the middle. If we jingle up the identity of New Zealand's number 3, one of the very finest batters going around in the world.
There's just something not right about that. Kane Williamson's bowling.
Gloriously underwhelming jingle for a quite wonderful player. 2050s and 2000s, average of 52.23. Kane Williamson, what a man.
have we had this Ravinair one that says, given you have been heaping opprobrium on Josh Bucket Butler for the second half of his innings, are you now going to scrutinise his every wicket-keeping mistake as well? Just be angry.
Yes, we are.
Well, not about anger, about analysis,
Of
dear
course
boy.
it is.
Seeing this again, no, I think the bat has hit the pad and then the ball has hit the pad. That's what I'm surmising. Kumar Dharmasena gave it fairly instantly, presumably that if the batters don't always know we've hit it. We've seen that in the era of DRS, but Latham didn't appear particularly interested in reviewing it and was just having, I think, an advisory chat with Jeet Raval. He walked off pretty quickly, so maybe that's what the second noise was. Williamson facing up to his first ball from Sam Curran is a horrible short ball which loops way over the head of Kane Williamson. Through to the keeper it goes. There is no run. I think what we are seeing is that bat hit pad and then ball hit pad. The next delivery is full outside off stump and left alone through to the keeper by Kane Williamson. A wicket maiden to start with for Sam Curran. Williamson on 0, Raval on 6. New Zealand 18 for 1 after 8, and we've got TV pictures back.
Neil Franklin says, they're the coolest team, New Zealand. Once it was West Indies, then Pakistan. It was never England, Australia or India. Garrett Dusseldorp says, no 5-test series. Perhaps it makes it more feasible to play the same players across all formats.
That's possible, but I mean, we were talking about the fact that New Zealand have just with their smaller player pool, tend to end up playing largely with the core of the team playing across formats. Certainly Latham, Williamson, Taylor, Nichols was in the World Cup squad, de Grandhomme, Southey, Bolt, Wagner, and Santner, sorry, all played parts in the World Cup squad, and a lot of them play in the T20s as well. So Sam Curran into the attack and starts with a wicket maiden. As they say, that old lazy cliche of sports commentary, he makes things happen.
Yeah, people wondered if he would actually, didn't they? That, he's not the quickest. Doesn't, I was reading an article with him the other day saying, he was trying to find ways of doing things with the
Kookaburra.
With the Kookaburra, yeah.
Well, I mean, we're in the early with the new ball, and the ball is swinging, which is very much his wheelhouse, and certainly Colin de Grandhomme did that to good effect. Archer switched ends, so we'll give him a jingle, none for 9 off his 3 overs. It's back of a length, and Ravel turns this into the leg side. They come through for a single. So Stuart Broad bowled a bunch of unthreatening maidens, then out of the attack. G. Ravel on to 7, New Zealand 19 for no loss. Kane Williamson facing up to Jofra Archer for the first time in Test cricket.
An intriguing battle.
An intriguing battle indeed.
Indeed, yeah.
Kane Williamson, one of the world's very finest players.
Sure, he'd like a quicker wicket to have a go at him first up, but
yeah, perhaps. Possibly this pitch will quicken up. We've got 5 slips in place, or certainly 3 slips and 2 gullies, and a short leg in place. So England going on the attack to the New Zealand captain. Full delivery, very full delivery on middle and leg stump, and just nudged by Williamson up to Jack Leach. There is no run. So, yeah, 6 men in catching positions for Kane Williamson.
Well, like all batsmen, I presume, if there is one weakness, it will probably be just outside his off stump on a decent length.
Early in his innings,
Early in his innings. That cliche.
Well, I think actually with Williamson, I'll come to that after this delivery, which is full on off stump and driven by Williamson solidly back to the ball. There is no run. It's almost a run-saving position because Williamson loves to run the ball off the defensive face of the bat down through third man. He plays, it's almost a forward defensive shot through third man.
Yeah.
So
it just opens the face, doesn't it?
Yeah, he does it better than anyone in the world, right under the eyes. But yeah, you got the 3 slips and then a sort of 5th slip and a gully in the slip corner, almost a West Indies style umbrella field. As Archer's in full delivery on the toes and clipped by Williamson into the leg side. Leach has to scamper to his right from mid-on to field, and they come through for a single. The Kiwi captain off the mark, and all of those slips run to the other side for the left-handed Jeet Ravel.
I suppose Leach won't get much of a go in this until much later in the innings, will he?
No, probably not. I mean, we've got obviously short spell for Stuart Broad. Archer into only his 4th over, and Sam Curran still got Ben Stokes. Of course, New Zealand only used Mitchell Santner for 6 overs. Still the many slips and a short leg in place. That's 2 straight from Jofra Archer to Jeet Ravel, who just nudges this off the hips down to Sam Curran. They come through for a single, and the slips have to do another shuttle run across.
We had Abhishek Chopra in saying good morning.
We haven't. Good morning, Abhishek.
He says, good morning. Sorry, I haven't been listening in much, but I have bought you a wicket. How have you all been, he says. Been all right.
Good. Plenty of cricket on. It's keeping us.
There is now. We had a little bit of a break after the summer, didn't we? It was a very long, crazy summer.
Yeah, there was plenty of cricket. We just weren't covering India versus South Africa and some other cricket around the world. There's always cricket on. It's great. Archer in very close to the stumps, bowls like full quick delivery on off stump, and Williamson with those beautiful soft hands of his waits for this to come to him and just drops it into the offside. They come through for a single. 4 runs in the over. Jofra Archer somehow being milked. Very good from Ravel and from Williamson. New Zealand after 9 overs, 22 for 1.
I think the battle with Williamson and Archer is an intriguing one. I mean, there's no doubt that a player of Williamson's experience and calibre won't be intimidated by a young upstart like Archer, but similarly I think we'd have to say that Archer won't be at all phased by bowling to Williamson either.
No, for sure. I mean, we saw, Steve Smith is the best Test batter in the world, the best Test batter for some years, certainly. I'm not quite sure how many years, but you saw how much he was discomforted by Archer when he was really on song, particularly at Lords. Sam Curran, 1 for no loss, a wicket making to start with, bowls to Kane Williamson. Glorious shot, goes up on his toes and punches this off the back foot. It wasn't even that short, but it rolls away past the right hander, point for 4.
Wasn't even that wide either, to be fair.
No, it wasn't really. Just outside off stump, just using that angle of Sam Curran for the left-hander across the right-hander, just using the bottom hand beautifully to guide that away.
Right underneath the eyes. Beautiful shot. Ravi says, in India, Raval,
as Williamson faces up to Sam Curran, a short delivery, and Williamson fends this off the outside part of the bat. Rory Burns has a long chase from Gully, snags this before it can get to the rope, and they come through for 2.
That's the one you mean. He just lets it come on, doesn't he? Opens the face, just runs it down there. Always guides it past the fielder, and as always runs. He says Ravel would rhyme with Charwell.
Well, Charvel is rice.
Ravel? As Knuckle knows.
Ravel?
But I have no idea what Jeet has allowed Aotearoa. I presume that's Ross Taylor.
Aotearoa is the Maori for New Zealand.
Okay. To call him.
Raval is what I've heard from the Kiwi commenters, but Raval is what I guess would be the Indian pronunciation. That's full and wide from Sam Curran to Kane Williamson. Fuller. Williamson not going to have a drive with those slips awaiting. There is no run.
Tim Everingham says, I'm back, not only from Australia versus Pakistan, but a quick little pick-me-up, a rest of the eyes. I'm ready for another 3 hours of Test cricket. Well, it's 28 for 1, and we got our first breakthrough.
And we get to watch Kane Williamson bat, which is always a happy occurrence. Fourth ball of the over. Curran in, left arm over the wicket. A little bit of swing back into the right-hander, but Williamson, as ever, plays it right from under his eyes up to mid. Off it goes. There is no run.
A message as GC Lover says, Sky Sports comms thought the ball hit bat and pad pretty well simultaneously. Probably correct decision.
From what I saw, it looked like the bat hit the pad and then the ball hit the pad.
Well, yeah, if you see the bigger picture, there's definitely a hot spot on the edge of the bat.
Well, that's where I thought, that's the hot spot that I thought was the bat hitting the pad.
Well, surely it would be bigger than that if it hit the pad.
Wide outside off stump, and Williamson leaves alone through to the keeper. So maybe it was bat hit pad, ball hit pad, bat hit ball.
Yeah, that was my summation. Anyway, Kevin Partington says, my last tweet brought a wicket as it was read out. I'm taking full credit. Here's another tweet. Hopefully it will bring another wicket when you read it.
I mean, there was quite a lot going on when that was going out because I was watching that game on my phone. So a little bit behind. The things we had to do as an independent broadcaster. Last ball over the 10th over. Sam Curran's second has gone for 6. Thus far is a beauty to finish from Sam Curran. Threatens to come in the air and then just holds its line to beat Kane Williamson on the outside edge. A little nod from the master to the young man. But Williamson survives New Zealand after 10 overs, 28 for 1.
Neil Franklin says the Archers should be mowing alley. I don't know why.
Mowing alley, yes. Yes,
Jesus.
indeed.
It's a bit early in the morning for this, guys. My brain doesn't really...
Jason Hiscox appears to be saying we have a 4-man change, which seems unlikely. But we will have a little bit of a shift around. Tony Bishop is coming in, Jason Hiscox is coming in, and Nigel Hendo Henderson is coming in. If you just fling me that mic, and then I might be able to play a little bit of something. Oh no, Jofra Archer's at the end of his mark already. I'll jump out. Jump in.
I'll do the first ball while Tony's getting into position. It's Jofra Archer round the wicket. 3 slips of gully and a forward short leg. He's in, bowls to Jeetan Ravel. It's wide of the off stump and he leaves it alone. 28 for 1. Ravel has 8, Williamson has 8, and the next voice you hear will be none other than the Bish himself.
You've gone into sort of snooker commentary mode there as a reason.
I was trying to do a
whispering Ted Lowe.
No, I was trying to do
whispering Nigel Henderson.
I was trying to do a whispering Bob Harris.
Yes.
Oh, whispering Bob Harris. Yes.
What? Late night cool jazz.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
28 for 1, as Hendo said. Archer has none for 13. He's not been at his best, I don't think. That one does take the edge of Ravel's bat and goes to backward point. There is no run. 28 for 1. The breakthrough finally then from Curran, removing Tom Latham, LBW. Bit of a combination of noises that confused everybody, but the general opinion is
that took a long time.
Definitely hit the bat first.
Didn't he just bowl the last over?
Yeah, he's just gone off for a little drink by the looks of things.
Could be. He's coming around the wicket, is Archer. Oh, and that one. And who's jumping up and down at first slip. I don't really think Raval offered a shot at that.
Do you not think? I thought he did.
Well, let's have a look.
He's given it the full
I thought he'd
swipe.
gone after that.
Yeah, no, absolutely right, Hendo. He did. I was trying to be kind.
It was a horrible shot, really, wasn't it?
It was.
Sort of, yeah, he wasn't in control.
He was reaching for it. He ended up with a bat in one hand.
He's burned that.
He did. So well bowled job for Archer. He's going to be in again to Jeet Raval. He's around the wicket. Up onto his toes goes Raval. Drops the ball back down in front of him. Debut versus Pakistan in Christchurch 2016. He made a 55. Not a bad start to your Test career. Starting off with a 50, is it?
Took a long time to get it though. I do recall.
Yeah, and he made 36 not out in the second innings, steering New Zealand home to a win. So pretty impressive. There's a highest score of 132 versus Bangladesh. And we made this year, and this one is cut, and it's actually cut up and straight down over the slip cordon. Rather bizarre shot. They've chosen not to run. So it's actually given us a leg. Oh, they did. It's a leg bye.
That's a bye.
It's a one bye. Oh yeah.
I thought Butler managed to parry that just.
Maybe he did. He did. Well done, Josh Butler. This time to good effect. We've already seen one today where he dived across in front of Joe Root at first slip and pushed it away from him, and off it went all the way to the boundary.
Yeah, he's not had a great day. I mean, you look at the scorecard and you say, well, he got 43. That's not bad.
It was just a funny old 43.
It's a very strange 43.
If he'd taken the singles, he could have had 70.
Well, quite.
Jofra Archer, though, is now switching back to... Oh, and he drops this short. It does bounce. This one, Archer can't get near. And it is 4 byes will go against his name. Certainly got some lift there, didn't he, Hendo?
Yeah, just kept going, didn't it? Yeah, poor old Josh Butler couldn't get anywhere near that.
Yeah, I think this one's appropriate for that. It's just Looney Tunes time.
It is. I mean, some days just things don't go right, do they?
He's just
not gone for Butler.
Yeah, for Butler. I mean, I don't think you can blame Butler for that one at all. I mean, it was a bouncer that just kept rising. Adrian Lowe, and I'm on the same page as him. He says, I'm thinking that England will regret not batting longer today. Good to hear you guys on the Test match again. Keep up the great work, chimps. Well, we'll try.
We'll do our best. Archer, once again, is going to be... Oh, it's Curran. I beg your pardon. Curran is going to be bowling from the city end. He's going to be bowling to Jeet Raval. We're having another look at that. It was a little bit tennis bally, wasn't it, as it was up, and poor old Just Butler just couldn't grow enough inches to reach up to intercept it.
Yeah,
Ben Folks,
he's now plus 35 on the day.
Yeah, you're going to put those against him, which I suppose is fair. In comes Curran, and that one does hit the pad of Raval, and he was looking to steer it away down leg, but he was also substantially wide of leg when it did.
Ravinair says you should do one of those Dervla Kerwin voiced M&S style commercials. This is not just cricket, this is guerrilla cricket. I can't do Dervla Kerwin, sorry, it's not in my skill set. Frankly, you make cricket fun. Ooh, there's a Fleetwood Mac jingle in there for you as well. Messi Jez says, in case you're wondering where you left your glasses, Hendo, they're on the top of your head. Not now, because I'm using them to look through and see what's on the tweet sphere.
Indeed, as in comes Curran. That one, just a hint of away movement from Raval there, and he steers it towards gully. And there's no run, 33 for 1.
And always good to hear from Abhishek Chopra, who
Aha!
says, Tony and Hendo and Tony. Greetings from Bombay, you lovelies.
And to you, Abhishek.
Not forgetting, of course, hello to Jason as well. Yeah, don't just leave Jason out. Poor
I
old
think
Jason.
we've been rather missing him,
Oh,
Abhishek.
he's-
Where have you been?
Yes, he hasn't been around so much, has he?
Yeah, he said tweeting just earlier that he just joined us.
Yeah, well, delighted.
Has
Delighted.
Has
As
he been
Curran,
working?
Curran is in, and this one is
Honest-
wide of the off stump of Raval, and kept pretty low as well. And there's no run.
Working on a workday. How revolutionary.
Yeah, you don't want to be doing that.
I don't hold with that sort
This
of
is
thing
a new work.
the new work. It's just like the New England. It'd be a slow work day. 33
Well,
for 1.
A New England.
A New England, yes. It's been a strange. As we were sort of summing up the
Possibly
England
the best
innings.
song by Billy Bragg, never sung by Billy Bragg.
What, A New England, looking for New England, wasn't it? As in comes Curran, full whipped off his legs, very nicely by Raval. But there is a man down there at deep backward square. It's Jack Leach with his England cap and his sunglasses and a pretty solid arm, actually.
Well, G. Ravel's just moved on to 9. He's actually at the moment, before today, he was averaging 8.33 against England in the two tests that he's played.
Yeah, Eden Park and the Hagley Oval. He made 3, didn't bat, 5 and 17. So in the 2018 series, it wasn't especially spectacular for him, was it?
We didn't take any memories away of him, did we?
No. Although a series memorable for a few other things. As that one is down the leg side of Williamson. He has a little flick at it, but not really in any serious intent, I don't think. And it is, of course, through to Joss Butler, who's probably feeling a bit strange about today, I would think, Joss Butler. I think he's probably thinking, I'm not sure I made the best fist of the opportunity I'd worked my way into with the bat.
Well, I wonder, do you think that Chris Silverwood or one of the backroom staff will have got hold of him and said...
Well, Ravi said this. It seemed the behaviour seemed to change noticeably after lunch, in which case it does suggest they'd
actually...
a conversation was had somewhere that did rather change the approach. Curran in, that one does swing in beautifully to Williamson, but compact and tidy as Williamson always is. He's able to get something on that, but as Hendo
he's purring.
Purred over there. It was a very good ball. Swung quite late, ducked in, and there were many worse batsmen in the world than Kane Williamson who may have been pinned by that one. Thank you. I was looking for the right verb or adjective.
See, I'm a massive admirer of Sam Curran. I think he's just got what it takes for Test cricket, and I know that I've seen someone as revered as Mike Selby talking him down a little bit, or certainly talking Wokes up, and not quite understanding what Curran brings to the team. And I totally disagree with him. I think Curran brings a lot to this team.
I think he does. Yeah, I'm with you, Hendo. The other thing I would say is I think the thing about Wokes here is if you look at his bowling figures for England, if you take out well, just wait while Archer comes around the wicket and Raval stands tall and just pushes it back to the bowler. If you take out his figures in England, his averages look appalling.
Well, yeah, I think his overseas average is something like 67.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it is. And if you look at that's in South Africa and Australia, where he's taken some real hammer, and in India. So I think that whilst Curran's don't look any better, he hasn't had the same number of opportunities, shall we say, and that one is worked off his legs very nicely by Raval, just backward of umpire Dharmasena, and Dominic Sibney just jogs around. There was never any question they weren't going to take a single, which they duly have.
There is a bit of a lumbering lurch about Dominic Sibley. He doesn't seem to do anything...
he doesn't look athletic, does he? I agree with you. He does have that sort of...
He clumps around.
He's got that sort of stoop, and almost like a stoop, hasn't he? For a man of 24, it's not a great look. We're not being very kind to him.
Basically, he's built like a tree and has got a club foot, or something like that. As Archer's in and up onto his toes goes Williamson, pushes this away to mid-on. And there is no run.
Well, this is a kind of a crucial little battle, isn't it, this Archer against Williamson? You really want him to get the breakthrough if you're an England fan. And you wonder whether perhaps if Archer doesn't get through Williamson, is Williamson going to be there for a long time?
Yeah. Well, one thing Archer has done since his first over, which went for 9, is actually he's kept the scoring out down very well.
again, that first over was a bit of an outlier.
Well, we're talking about... Sorry, I'll break off.
Yeah, indeed, as Archer is right arm over in wide of Williamson's off stump and through quite low down at sort of ankle height, taken by Joss Butler, whose day at work we've been mulling over.
Well, if you are going to get bounce on this wicket, it's going to be Jofra Archer, isn't it? Because he's got that height, he's got that ability to get very close to the wicket, and he puts the ball into the pitch.
He does. He does.
He doesn't just float it up there, generally speaking, which I think he felt that's what Tim Southey was doing a lot yesterday. He got a bit more lucky today, bowled probably better as well.
Yeah, I think he did bowl better today as Archer is in and Williamson is down onto his haunches very quickly.
Did that hit his helmet?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. It wasn't a Rory Burns who was bowling when was it Wagner?
Oh no.
And yes, I think it was Wagner.
Kissed the helmet of Burns.
Kissed the badge.
Kissed the badge. Well, the badge that Kane Williamson wears with huge pride is that white fern which stands out very proudly on that black helmet.
Silver, surely.
Silver fern, okay. As Archer's in and cut away very nicely indeed by Williamson. Is there a man out there on that cover boundary? No, there is not. And it's 4 more, so Williamson, who's looking in ominously good order.
I suppose if you have quite a few slips, you can't put fielders everywhere, but it did seem a very empty offside, that, didn't it?
And we didn't have someone buried away in the crowd who suddenly appears out of nowhere.
Exactly. no, precisely. And
field.
You thought perhaps that it sort of hit almost gently, really, and you just expected the sort of man to appear and it just to be a single, but it.
And that's a shot that Williamson plays very well. So
he's fabulous. He's fabulous off the back foot there, really is, and hits it. He doesn't really hit it behind unless he lets it come right onto him and then just jabs it down to third man. But he plays that forcing shot off the back foot in front of square really well.
Well, Curran will be continuing. He's into his 4th over. This one again, he gets a bit of movement in the air, and that one sort of swung from middle stump towards the off stump of the left-handed Raval, but Raval is tidily in behind it.
And Curran is marching back immediately to his mark, leaving the ball shiner to pick up the ball and do his work on it.
Who is the ball shiner?
Who is the ball shiner?
I would have thought. Well, Broad's mid-on, so I don't think it's him.
No, he's not normally one known for doing other people's work, is Stuart Broad these days in his more senior position within the side. Forward comes
we'll find out now. It is Rory Burns.
Yeah.
Well,
it's normally the person whose hands sweat the least, isn't it? That's why Alistair Cook
that was
used to get
Jonathan
the job very
Trott's
often.
reason for why he was banished to the boundary, so he could stay away from the ball.
Because he was sweaty.
Yes.
Sweaty Trotty.
Neil Franklin says, I think Hendo's more like John Peel than Bob Harris, but better than both, obviously. Obviously. Ravi Nair says, thanks, Jason, for referencing one of my favourite songs that though the great Kirsty McColl, break off.
Indeed, as in comes Curran. That one swung again, but Raval was able to shoulder arms. Curran puts his hand to his face, and there was an ooh from Jason, but I think that was a pretty well-judged leave. Mind you, on a second look,
it's quite close. I thought. Quite close to his off stump.
I think, yeah, and the expression on Raval's face suggested.
I got a bit lucky there.
Well, it was lucky, but I think he realises it was a good leave. When you look at it from a more conventional angle over the bowler, it looked secure enough. When you looked at it side on, you went, ooh, maybe not. As Curran's in again, this one swings away from Raval, shapes in the air. Raval seems to have a smile on his face most of the time, which is good.
Well, why not? He's playing international sport.
Well, he is, and this does seem to be a generally good-natured rivalry that
you've got to enjoy your work.
You do.
Otherwise, why would we be here at 3 a.m. in the morning?
Well, because we enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because we enjoy the cricket.
There's plenty of work I don't enjoy, I can tell you that.
Well, this is true for all of us, as Curran is once again in. Oh, and that takes a bottom edge as Raval was looking to cut. And it bobbles and bumbles and finally limps its way towards Joss Butler, and he was a hair's breadth from chopping that onto his off stump. Let's have another look. Yep, he got lucky again.
That's the lack of pace again, I think, isn't it, on this pitch? Just so playing a little bit early.
Yeah, you're right. Well, Sam Curran is causing a few problems. He's taken the one wicket that has fallen. He's had Raval in a bit of a tangle on more than a couple of occasions, and this one as again swings away as once more the atmospherics or the aged nature of the skybox equipment that we have means that we're looking at not much at all.
Can we have a phone, please? Can someone bring us a phone? We can't see a thing. The satellite signal has gone, in which means
Sky app on my phone.
I shall take the chance to do some more tweets. Yeah, thanks, Jason, for referencing one of my favourite songs, says Rabinair. Though the late great Kirsty MacColl's cover is the more celebrated version. I don't want to change the world. I'm just looking for a New England.
It was.
Mog says, of course, I do get mobbed a lot. I'm not sure that's in reference to. Is it to do with the fact that you got mugged in Chicago?
We're back.
We are back. He was mugged and has almost got over it. Chicago was mogged, has never recovered, says Jeff Perkins. Hey, very good.
Indeed.
Mog says it's probably a good-natured series because those Australian Bradmans aren't involved. Yeah, that might have something to do with it. Very disappointed to see David Warner getting a 50 against Pakistan already today. Oh, he's back into his old ways, isn't he? On these lovely old
We're going to see some spin. This is an interesting move indeed from Joe. I say we're going to see some spin. We're going to try and see some spin. Jack Leach appears to be sort of pixelating as we talk, which I assume is our picture. I don't imagine he's doing that in real life, but if you can imagine him stood on a Star Trek transporter.
I was going to say that. He's just about to beam up to the Enterprise, isn't he?
Beam up somewhere. Whether that will affect his left arm orthodox bowling, who knows? He has a slip in place. He also has a forward short leg close in there,
and we lost the signal.
He's in, and we have no clue what happened.
We don't. Has anyone got an iPad that we can put it on?
Can you bring us a phone or anything that we're able to see things on?
We're cranking up the iPad to...
Cranking up the iPad, says Dr. Tech.
Meanwhile, Jack Leach's probably taken a hat-trick.
It'd be funny if he had. Can you imagine? I was there.
Abhishek suggesting a 2 to 3 over spell for Stokes, maybe. And Mog says, I don't swear nearly as much in real fucking life, he says.
Well, I'm going to find out, hopefully.
You are. I've already warned him about you.
Have you?
Yeah.
Lord, what have you said?
Yeah, I told him all sorts of things. Things that are from behind the green room.
Marvellous.
That go on. And I think he's a worried man now.
We've been sent down to discipline him.
He's pretty worried.
Insubordinate tweeting.
He's worried. He's worried that he's agreed to meet you.
Some of his tweets have been rather rude. We've sent Tony to sort him out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we keep getting intermittent flashes of action on the screen, but then it goes again. So Knuckle will provide us with the...
Knuckles...
Sky Go.
Placing his tool in my grip.
I beg your pardon.
And here it is.
Mrs. Carry on.
There were complaints about my double entendres yesterday. That's probably one of the worst I've heard. Placing his tool in my grip.
Well, I was going to go on to say it's not very big. Let me see. Because I have to actually look over the top of my glasses. However, let me see, where have we got to? We're looking at loads of it. It's 40 for 1. Leach didn't get a hat-trick whilst we weren't able to see anything.
Well, we got from the BBC One London News, but that's not much help.
This is even more... no, I'm going to stick on this. So, let's recollect ourselves. Raval will be facing the third ball from Jack Leach's first over. Leach is coming left arm over the wicket.
Oh no! In fact, you are behind because we came back live, and I'll tell you what happened there. You probably didn't see. Raval went back. The ball turned into him ever so slightly. It dropped down off his pad and missed the leg stump by the size of Knuckles' tool, I'm guessing. But there we go. Look at this. Here we go again.
Oh my word!
It's gone between his legs, hasn't it?
And then it. Well, it did. He was looking to work it away to leg. It went between his legs, right. I mean, how that didn't bounce back and hit the stump. It just missed leg stump, and then the picture went again. Bear, I'm sure Bear hasn't paid the Sky bill. Oh, Knuckle, my arms aren't that long, mate. Oh, there we go. Right, so anyway, we're probably a few balls behind it. We're going to watch all this all over again on Knuckles' iPad. So I predict what's going to happen here is he's going to try and look to work this away to leg, is Raval. Yes, he has. Oh, and it's dropped down. And how did it not hit the leg stump? Quite
absolutely
extraordinary.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Jack Leach put his hands on his head, We're now back in real time. It's like I'm living in two universes here.
No, I'm afraid that was just us on the Australia-Pakistan game for a moment. So we might actually end up commentating on the wrong game, which would be fun.
Well, it could be. We were watching numerous replays of poor Jack Leach. The encouraging thing,
according to Quick Info, that ball actually touched leg stump.
Well, yeah,
oh, really?
I absolutely think it did. Yeah, I mean, it isn't possible to be that close without touching. Yes, it did. It did. When you look at it from an angle sort of at, I suppose, silly mid-on, which is where we were looking from, it did.
It must be a problem. Must it not be a problem with the Sky satellite?
Because but in comes Sam Curran and Hendo worked off his legs through square leg. They've taken one. They will come back for two. They may well look for three. In fact, they may well get four. They do. Hard running. Hard running, which they didn't actually need. Meantime, back at the basketball.
Oh, it's the Dukes v California. Just what I wanted to see.
Well, extraordinary. Beautiful turn off the legs. It was a game effort by Ollie Pope, but he went sliding away through the boundary sponge, but the ball had beaten him to it. American football now. Good lord.
A bit of golf.
In comes Curran. In our multi-sport extravaganza, we're back at cricket in my hand and via Knuckles' iPad. And it's through to Joss Butler. No run. 44 for 1. And, wow, it's interesting, really, because 44 for 1, you'd say these two are looking well set with Raval on 10 and Williamson on 17. But there's been more than one occasion with both Curran and Leach where that partnership could have been broken. And England, I think, will feel quite encouraged by that. As Curran is in. Oh no, this is driven straight to cover by Williamson. And therefore there's no run.
Well,
44 for 1.
The good news, folks, is that tea is coming up.
Hooray!
Which will give us 20 valuable minutes to try and sort out technical issues.
Well, unless there's a man from Sky who can come round at 4 in the morning, or whatever time it is. I'm not sure that's going to help. But we do at least have Knuckles' iPad.
24-hour Sky. It's unlikely, isn't it, Sky workers that would do that.
Indeed.
Although you never know these days.
Curran's in and flicked beautifully off his toes by Kane Williamson. He does play that shot well, and it's down to Ollie Pope at deep mid-wicket for a single. But the execution and the timing is a joy to behold. Just and economy of effort. He's an uncomplicated player, isn't he, Williamson? He doesn't play with huge flourishes and pose holding, but he's effective and uncomplicated and just tidy, but so effective. As Curran is in again to Raval this time, and Raval can leave this and watch it through to Joss Butler. And there's no run.
Would you like to give me a signal when it's the end of the over? Because I can't see the iPad.
No, you can't, can you?
Well, I can see an iPad which has got tweets on it, but I can't see the
And you've got to
iPad.
remember that were the television actually on, then the over I'm watching would be a couple of balls behind.
Has finished, in fact.
Yeah. So I'm now in the past, but I'll commentate it anyway as Curran slants this across Raval, who was looking to flick it away down to fine leg. He doesn't get anything on it, and there is no run in. It is Hendo, the end of the over.
Right, in which case I'll tweet you up. Mog says, if only half of what Hendo has told me is true, then by thunder you're a filthy bastard, Tony. Abhishek Chopra says in great big capital letters, Knuckle has placed his tool in Tony's grip. Have I been missing guerrilla cricket or what? And Messi Jez says, I kind of like you losing the feed so we can get carry on guerrilla levels of double entendre.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
You have been listening to Carry On Up the Knuckles Tool, says Neil Franklin. And Adrian Lowe says, love listening to you chimps, hilarious, especially when the telly breaks. Well done. Well,
right.
We do.
Well, Jack Leach is back, who did bowl, which we managed to see through various media. A terrific first over. This is driven. It's driven on the full back pass Leach. The stumps don't get in the way this time, and it's 4 runs to Williamson, who drove that straight quite superbly, but it was a full toss. Leach
full banger,
rather losing his line there. Actually, he does get a hand on it, to almost divert it into the stumps, but I think Raval was in his ground. Williamson is tidily on top of that, pushed away into the offside. There's no run. Hendo is making sleepy noises, as would any man who's being forced to sit in a chair to look at a computer with
nothing on it,
commentating on a sport he can't see. But there we go. Leach again, he's coming around the wicket to the right-handed Kane Williamson. Full, and Williamson gets the size 11 boot right to the pitch of that to push it back to Jack Leach. 49 for 1. A 1 wicket to fall, that of Latham. Claimed LBW by Sam Curran.
And this should be the last over before tea, I think.
It should be. We have Jack Leach bowling it. He skips in. Forward comes Williamson. It's away to mid-off, and there is no run. There are 2 balls left at the over, though probably in the real world where you are, they're probably halfway through their sandwiches and thinking about coming back out for the evening session. But Leach skips in again. Full. Met beautifully on the check drive by Williamson, but it's down to long off, and he will get himself a single. So his work should be done, and he can think about a cuppa and a fairy cake.
Yeah, there's plenty of fairy cakes out in the kitchen.
They're very good as well. Yeah, well done,
bad.
Knuckle.
They're not enough icing for my liking.
No, well, you don't.
In fact, none.
Oh, that's true. No icing.
In fact, no icing.
No. I've got a confession to make. I'll tell you in a minute.
Ooh.
It's nothing terribly naughty. Leach, anyway, is going back over the wicket to the left-hander. Everyone crowds around the bat, and there is no run. So 50 for 1 at lunch. Raval is on 10. Williamson on 23. Latham the man out to Curran. New Zealand have made a pretty good fist of their reply. England's close of their innings was all rather bizarre, wasn't it?
I know that Evil Scooters disagreed with me quite strongly that England hadn't got enough. I don't know that they haven't got enough. All I'm saying is that they've now opened the door for New Zealand to, if they bat sensibly on a pitch that's a little bit dead, they could probably get in the best part of 2 days. They can get themselves to 500 if someone like Williamson gets in. One of those that does like to bat a long time, Tom Latham, has gone. That's a good thing for England. I think what England have given New Zealand is a chance to still win this match, as opposed to actually putting the win out of their reach.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they should have done. I think they just got a little bit bored with a lack of pace on the ball. Ben Stokes batted beautifully, but then really gave his wicket away, didn't he? As did Ollie Pope, who had also been batting well.
Well, this was the frustration that we've been brewing. Is you have batsmen who made 50, 2 who made 70, 1 who made 90, and still nobody went on to put
the 100.
That big one, to
big
nail
100,
one on the big 100 on.
Yeah.
But,
absolutely.
So I think would have put the game probably out of sight for New Zealand.
Yeah, I think that's right. Oh, it looks like we're going to, as we've gone to the adverts, we've got the picture back finally. Anyway, we shall have a break.
We will.
Abhishek Chopra has one more tweet. He says, Led Zeppelin featuring Guerrilla Cricket, When the Telly Breaks. Does anyone know this tune? When the telly breaks, I'll have no place to watch. Mean old telly taught me to weep and moan.
It's the When the Levee Breaks off Led Zeppelin 4.
Oh, okay. All right. It's not one that I'm familiar with.
My go-to man on music.
Well done,
always.
Jason G. Okay, we're going to just play some highlights. We'll be back in about 15 minutes.
We will indeed.
Ta-da.
Australia have this weird thing where they've got so many, even so many of their bowlers can hit big that they'll just keep going for the entire innings.
Yeah, I think Mitchell Stark is classed as a cricket captain all-rounder, so we'll do for
yeah. Yes. He does have a test match in 99, of course.
Oh, yeah. So is Alex Tudor, though. So.
Yeah.
99 not out, actually.
Against an only marginally worse bowling attack.
Yeah. Greedy Alex Stewart for no reason. Like England were so desperate to win a test match in those days that Alex Stewart, even though England had 7 wickets in hand, Alex Stewart felt, I better get these runs. And Alex Tudor stranded on 99.
Still lost.
Probably never got...
Still lost the series.
They lost the series. Yeah. Alex Stewart probably never scored more than 30 in a test match after
that. His career was sort of cut short a little bit by that horrifying delivery he got from Brett Lee.
Oh yeah, he got 12, didn't he? we've had a drinks break, which is why we are bringing you the very latest on Alex Tudor's Test career.
ODI cricket circa 2002.
Yeah. The Australians are 94 for 3 from 16. The men gone are Finch, Warner and Watson. Cheerio to all of you three. Clark and Smith, we're quite like these guys. Don't we like Michael Clark? He's an honourable man of cricket. We've enjoyed Piggy Smith's kind of.
We're all Piggy Smith converts, I think.
We've spent a lot of time down under with these boys over the last few months, so these are honourable gents. But I think we can all say we're backing the Black Caps today. And their white and gold kits.
Well, Men with Ven tweets in, we're all Kiwis now.
There you go. Quite all right on the money, Men with Ven.
Evil Scooters, interesting bowling figures. Southie, 2 for 50, 6.
Yeah.
Bolt and Vittori together, 1 for 38 of 10.